And welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling TV. It's homecoming here at OU. We're in Norman, Oklahoma on this beautiful October Saturday for some Big 12 football. The Sooners trying to get on track in conference play against the ranked Jayhawks of Kansas. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Tiffany Blackman, great to have you with us. All right, we're living in the upside down of the Big 12, I guess, Rod, because Kansas is the confident team, the ranked team, and Oklahoma is almost in crisis mode these days.
They've been reeling. I mean, the fall from grace has been fast and furious. 3 weeks ago, they were number 6, but 3 straight losses. They've been uncompetitive in the last 2, and Brent Venables talked to us this week about the burden of expectations, and that's been heavy on the players and trying to get them to relax and play with some joy today.
Well, Kansas hasn't beaten Oklahoma in a long time. You figure the Jayhawks have a real chance to do it. Snap a 17-game losing streak against OU. They'd be bowl eligible with a win. Meanwhile, the Sooners, they haven't been below 500 through 7 games, going back all the way to 1998. And, of course, that's a pretty low bar, 500 for this proud program. It is tough times for Brent Venables in his first year as the head coach. And he needs a good performance from his team. Meanwhile, Lance Leipold, who's just done an amazing job so quickly, not just making the Jayhawks competitive, but it's a really good Kansas team.
It is. It is. They are not prone to make mistakes. They hang in there. They are a competitive team. This ought to be a fun one.
The Jayhawks kicking off, and Oklahoma's going to have the ball first, and they are going to return the kick from the end zone out to about the 22-yard line. Farouk with the return. Let's go down to Tiffany.
Hey guys, Dillon Gabriel will start for Oklahoma today after coming out of the concussion protocol. And when I spoke with him this week, he said it was certainly tough not being able to play with his teammates last weekend, but that he really took the time to lean on his faith and process everything that had happened. He said it's a violent game. Things happen, but he's thankful that he was able to heal quickly, he said, and have another opportunity to get out here with his teammates. Now, he says he feels good, and guys, we'll see how he looks today.
Well, Tiffany, thank you. And while you were talking, I was going, well, wait a minute, he's not even on the field, but he was as a receiver, and he'll throw coming out back into the backfield. They initially showed a wildcat look, and he's incomplete on his first pass attempt of the day.
Well, I saw him practice on Thursday, and he looked great in practice. You know, he took a tremendous hit, a cheap shot in my opinion, in that TCU game. And the question for him, though, is how does he respond today to the exertion and any hit he might take?
Well, he started his career at UCF, transferred here, and injured last year with the concussion, missing a game and a half. Theo Weiss takes the pass from Gabriel for an Oklahoma first down.
Has not thrown a pick this season, takes care of the football.
Gabriel across the middle, and a nice delivery in stride and a broken tackle across midfield. Down to the 30, the tight end Braden Willis, who's having a big year, one of the real leaders on this Oklahoma team.
Yeah, a very aggressive approach by Oklahoma. They coming in, they knew they wanted to try and attack the safeties. So far, so good.
Play fake, Gabriel throwing again, and another completion across the middle. And that's Drake Stoops. You can hear the crowd respond to Stoops with the catch. So the Sooners offense, after just a disastrous week last week without Dillon Gabriel, Gabriel's back, and things look a little more normal here on the first drive of the game. He'll throw that one away.
Yeah, getting the ball out quickly. He hasn't been touched yet. No one's been near him. It's exactly the way Oklahoma wants to see it. Keep him clean, keep him protected, keep him healthy.
Sooners are wearing those alternate uniforms, so everybody's got the name Unity on the back. Excellent sentiment, bad for a play-by-play broadcaster. Gabriel's going to carry, and Gabriel inside the 10 does take a little bit of a hit, dives forward, short of the first down. It'll be third down, and they can get a first down at about the 6.
That's the first contact he's had since that concussion, because he didn't have any contact, obviously, while he was in the protocol, and they don't hit the quarterback during practice.
Throws that one quickly, and it's complete inside the 5 for an Oklahoma first down. It'll be first and goal. That's Marvin Mims.
Yeah, Kansas playing off coverage. The quick game has been available for Oklahoma. The quick slant, the quick stop.
Mims obviously not 100%. He's limping, still on the field. A handoff straight ahead, and Kansas stops the ball carrier Eric Gray short of the goal line.
Tough inside for KU. Sam Burt, Caleb Sampson, both about 300 pounds. It's usually easier to run against Kansas around the edges than trying to move those two big guys out of there.
The true freshman Javante Barnes, who's a big, powerful runner, has come in for the Sooners here on second and goal. Ball is inside the 1. It's a great start for the Oklahoma offense, trying to punch it in. Gabriel from the shotgun will keep it, and driving forward, he got real close, and that was not Gabriel, that was the tight end Willis in that Wildcat formation that they used quite a bit last week.
Yeah,
Willis got close.
You don't want Gabriel sticking his head in there like that. Really good job by Kansas.
This is Gabriel, and touchdown Oklahoma. That's the freshman Barnes.
We expect to see a lot more of Javante Barnes, a highly recruited freshman running back. He's a little banged up at times during this season, but he's healthy now, and what a huge hole that was open for him there.
Well, it's just a small step, but after what has happened the last couple weeks, a moment where Oklahoma fans could feel a little bit better about things. 10 plays, 79 yards, right down the field for a game-beginning touchdown.
Could not have gone any better for Oklahoma. Dillon Gabriel returns, looks fantastic. They kept him clean, didn't get hit, ran the ball once, looks like his old self.
21 drives without Gabriel after being concussed against TCU. 1 total touchdown for Oklahoma. He's back straight down the field into the end zone.
Yeah, and this drive was really Dillon Gabriel showing you that he's back. The accuracy has always been there. Laying off for 2 weeks hasn't hurt that. Got the deep slant, got quick slants that he was able to hit, and then finish it off. Javante Barnes. And this allows the Oklahoma defense a rarity over the last couple of weeks, a chance to play with the lead.
With 10 plays, 79 yards, under 3 minutes. Barnes with the touchdown to finish it off. Well, Nick Saban said it on game day this morning when he joined the guys live, talking about Bryce Young. Well, it's not like he absolutely needs the practice. Right. We trust that he can play quarterback. Gabriel's got a ton of experience.
Yeah, he didn't forget.
Did not forget how to play the position. So the kickoff through the end zone, that'll be a touchback. And now we get to see this vastly improved Kansas offense for the first time. It's not Jalen Daniels. Everybody sort of figured, I don't know if KU out and out said that Daniels wasn't going to play, but he's not going to play today. So Jason Bean, who's not your ordinary backup, he's got a lot of playing experience, first at North Texas, and last year for the Jayhawks started the first 9 games and performed pretty well against Oklahoma last year.
He may be the fastest guy on the team. Now, he's not as instinctive a runner as Daniels, but he's pretty darn good.
Came off the bench last week and played really well. Play fake. He's going to throw on the move. Well covered, incomplete, trying to hit Luke Grimm.
Now, I think, Flynn, he's got a stronger arm than Daniels, so I expect to see them challenge Oklahoma down the field. He doesn't have quite the same touch as Daniels, so I think that's the difference between the two. The more instinctive runner that Daniels is, you get more speed, flat-out speed, out of Bean. So in that option game, I think if you're Oklahoma, you want to get the ball out of his hands.
Daniels is here, going to cheer on his teammates from the sideline. Pistol formation, and Bean hands it off. A broken tackle, Devin Neal. Got 4 on second and long. Kansas's run game has been really effective. Oklahoma's run defense has been disastrous. There's Jalen Daniels.
He was on his way into getting himself into the Heisman race until he got injured near the end of the first half of that TCU game.
So third down Jayhawks right away. Tight end in motion, and Oklahoma moved. They jumped.
Yeah.
Well, that changes things entirely.
You know, that's the #1 penalty in college football. False starts, offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 31. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's Jalen Redmond. We heard it more than once yesterday talking to the Oklahoma folks. Let's not have Oklahoma beat Oklahoma.
Yeah. And this is one, as you see right inside the circle there, this is just jumping. And a good job by Puny to get his hands on him and say, hey, give us the penalty.
Swing pass right side. That's going to be a first down and much more. So the quick hit pass on third and very short. And the completion not to midfield across the 40 to the 42 to Torrey Loughlin.
Well, those two plays demonstrate what the issues have been for the Oklahoma defense. You know, a penalty you didn't need, and then a missed assignment on the back out of the backfield.
There's nobody there. So the Jayhawks convert. First and 10 Kansas. Again, that sort of pistol look. Bean in the pocket, plenty of time, will throw, and that one is complete. Right sideline, the tight end Mason Fairchild.
You know, the issues we talked about with the Oklahoma defense, mistakes, and it's not a scheme issue with them from what I've been able to see on tape. It's just an issue of, hey, sometimes guys don't cover their responsibilities, or they overhelp. They try to help a teammate and ignore their responsibility, and that leads to a breakdown.
Quick snap. Bean handed it off, and the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Neo goes down. Now let's go down to the sideline with Tiffany.
Hey guys, Coach Lance Leipold told us that they have all the confidence in the world in Jason Bean, and that's because he's coming off an excellent August for them in camp, and he showed these guys that he stayed ready. It could have been easy for him to hit that eject button with Jalen Daniels hanging around, but he stuck to it, and he's earned the respect of that locker room, guys.
Sure looked that way last week when he came in. They've been talking about how improved he has been. First chance to really show it across the middle, and that pass is caught off the deflection. Lawrence Arnold brings it in. Touchdown. He had it, the hit came, the ball popped up, and he grabbed it out of the air and tumbled in. 38-yard touchdown catch.
Heck of a play. We talked about a bit of a stronger arm, and look at him just wing this thing between two defenders to give Arnold a chance, and Arnold comes up with it. I mean, that's confidence in your guy to make a play. And the two safeties, you know, when you play that two deep defense, the middle is open. That's the issue, and those safeties have to be able to close on that a little faster. But what a throw by Bean. Didn't give those safeties a chance to get in there.
The answer from Kansas with the extra point coming. Kick is up, and it is good. So the teams have each had a possession, and they've each scored a touchdown, and this one was pretty spectacular.
Hey, this was textbook all the way around. It started with great protection, Bean with plenty of time, and then just a rocket in between the safeties and his men. Arnold comes up with it. We're all tied up here.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN in front of this homecoming crowd at Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma and Kansas. And it's just it's been such a strange year on both sides. For Kansas, in a really positive way. Lance Leipold's got this team playing better than they have in years and years and years, and they answer Oklahoma's opening touchdown with a touchdown of their own. So now the Jayhawks will kick it back to OU, and that will be a touchback.
This is homecoming, right? Oh, never mind. There's something else happening. Tell me about it.
Well, if you're not a fan of the hit show, the streaming show, Stranger Things, the Upside Down, it's sort of like the alternate world where things are opposite. It sure feels that way with these two programs. I mean, the records, the Big 12 titles versus wins, everything has been so heavily lopsided in favor of Oklahoma, and yet Kansas comes into this game 5-1, ranked for the first time since 2009, and it's the Sooners who are 3-3, but 0-3 in conference play. And they desperately need a win. Now their offense looks totally rejuvenated with Dylan Gabriel in the backfield. Eric Gray gets the first down carry.
Yeah, you know, it is odd. I mean, normal things, had they been normal, this would be your typical homecoming game, right?
Gabriel completes that one to Braden Willis.
I mean, for homecoming, you schedule a team that you know you can beat to make all the alums happy, right? And that's what Oklahoma was thinking at the beginning of the year. Now they got a ranked Kansas team they're facing.
Another completion for Gabriel, this time Farouk, and some tough running after the catch for Jalil Farouk. And the last time Kansas won a game here in Norman was 1996.
Ouch.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
But their defense is going to have to come up with something to answer Gabriel in this Oklahoma offense.
Well, they just switched up on the back end.
Gabriel delivers another completion into KU territory now, down close to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, they were playing a too high safety look with everyone else playing off about 7 yards, and Dylan Gabriel was just eating that alive. And then they started switching to the single high safety and playing a little closer.
Direct snap, not to Gabriel, but to Gray. He pushes forward, gets stopped about a yard short of the first down. So 3rd and short. And you figure Oklahoma probably has a couple downs to get a yard. And off. They won't need a couple downs. They'll get the first down and much more. Gray to the outside, then cut it back in all the way down inside the 10 to about the 7. It'll be 1st and goal Sooners.
What an explosive first step. And he got himself to the outside, sticking that right foot in the ground, hopping laterally to the edge, and then showed you the speed.
And the quick tempo of Oklahoma, when things are moving, it's such a factor. Haven't seen that the last couple weeks, really. Gabriel, that one incomplete.
Yeah, he threw that one away. You go back to Gray's run. Just watch how quickly he's able to just change direction and so explosively get down the field.
Young man who started his college career at the University of Tennessee. They got a big game today, that's for sure. That completion inside the 5 down to about the 2.5. Marvin Mims has been very involved in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, rightfully so. I mean, they sort of ignored him the last couple of weeks, and that hurt them.
They ignored everybody last week.
Texas had a little bit to do with that.
Now Gray straight ahead. Touchdown, Oklahoma. They do love those direct snap plays. Eric Gray takes it in. 2 drives and 2 trips to the end zone for the Sooners.
I tell you, though, Gray was so patient. He waited for the big block in the middle to happen. Watch as the tight end comes across and just blows away the Mike linebacker. And he patiently waited for that so he could have a walk into the end zone.
That was a cool block.
Yeah, it's awesome.
75-yard drive, 9 plays. Oklahoma has been just almost uninterrupted on offense.
You know, we always talk about the running back scoring, but you know what? The star of that play? That's that tight end with the great block.
ESPN College Football is presented by Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love, and in part by Chick-fil-A. Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich today, available for a limited time.
Oklahoma today is honoring one of their all-time greats, Prentice Gaude, who was a great player, also was a trailblazer. He was the first African-American player in OU history, went on to a lot of NFL success. Honoring his son, his wife. Prentice passed away almost 20 years ago, but not forgotten here. He's part of the College Football Hall of Fame. Just a great part of Oklahoma history. They had so many all-time great players, but Prentice Gaude is near the top of the list for what he did on and off the field.
Yeah, he obviously endured an awful lot of racism in his day, but he also told the story about a bus ride back from Tulsa with his teammates, and being denied the right to have dinner with his team and went back to the bus by himself, only to turn around and find all of his teammates coming back with them and saying, we're not eating there either.
It's a pretty cool story. Kick return outside the 30, almost to the 35 for the Jayhawks. Kenny Logan with the return. So it's a nice thing that Oklahoma is doing today to honor a great player and a great man.
They named the Academic Support Center after him, which is adjacent to the stadium nearby.
So the Jayhawks probably thinking on that sideline, feeling like they've got the togetherness on one part of the jersey, the unity on the back where the player name would ordinarily be. Part of homecoming day here in Norman. Jayhawks, I think, are figuring they're going to have to put up a lot of points this afternoon. Handoff and a missed tackle in the backfield. Still very short gain. Sevion Morrison, that had a chance to be a big loss for the OU defense.
Yeah, we're seeing a change from Oklahoma defensively. They're being more aggressive on first down. Coming into this game, they had rushed 5 or more players only 10% of the time. They just weren't aggressive on first down. They've already done it multiple times in this game. They're trying to create second and long situations, and it's going to help them if they can do that.
Jason Bean starting a quarterback today. All that motion, the straight ahead handoff, though. Neal breaks through, and Devin Neal will get the first down for Kansas across the 45. We got 2 big games coming up on ABC later today in the Big 12. Just a fascinating game. TCU and Oklahoma State both undefeated, both in the top 15. That's at 3:30 Eastern. Then 7:30 Eastern. Number 4 Clemson going to be tested, I think, in Tallahassee. Florida State's much improved.
Absolutely. How about that Oklahoma State defensive front?
You know, it's funny because you and I saw it up close and personal in week 2, and they have so many returning players who've been so good for so long. They truly do have some great players up front. The overall defensive numbers, though, for the Cowboys haven't been spectacular.
Yeah, a little shakier on the back end.
Kai Thomas now in the backfield. Kansas has a lot of depth at running back, and a penalty flag thrown. I don't know, did the play clock expire? I think it did.
Snap, delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
And that'll make the head coach unhappy. That's the kind of thing that Kansas really doesn't do. You know, their offense can be complicated looking, lots of motion, different formations, but they avoid those mistakes typically.
Yeah, they usually are able to create a lot of confusion for the defense, make the defense jump off sides or forget who they should be responsible for.
So now it's 1st and 15 for the Jayhawks. Quentin Skinner went in motion. And the handoff to Kai Thomas, nowhere to go. He lost a yard.
Yeah, you know, you see the different mentality from Oklahoma. The line of scrimmage, they had like 8 guys in the box. This is an entirely different approach to their game plan now. Look at all the dark jerseys sitting in there. That's a first down aggressive defense. So give credit to Oklahoma for switching it up to try to improve their defensive play.
Danny Stutzman in on that tackle with some teammates to help him. He looks a lot different with the helmet on as opposed to with the helmet off. And off on 2nd and long. Jayhawks are very committed to the run, and they'll do that. But the Sooners so far have been stout against the run. Kai Thomas just a couple yards, maybe 3.
Yeah, and this is a big down for Kansas to sort of keep pace with the Oklahoma offense. And if you're looking for where Kansas should attack, matchups against the safeties. Slot receivers against the safeties.
5 receivers, nobody in the backfield along with Bean. Oklahoma showing some pressure. Still plenty of time on the play clock. Bean takes a snap and only a 3-man rush. Bean throws across the middle into coverage, and it's caught anyway by the tight end Mason Fairchild.
Well, we talked about the arm strength. Mason Fairchild was not really open. There was pretty decent coverage, not much of a window, but watch the throw by Bean. This is a rocket, and there wasn't much of a window to get that ball in.
Nice throw and catch. Even with the good coverage there, Mason Fairchild's had a couple big plays. That was 26 yards and a Kansas first down.
Hey, Mason Fairchild is one of those tight ends that doesn't get a whole lot of credit and attention, but he is critical to what they do on offense.
He's very famous, though, in Andale, Kansas, his hometown. That one is incomplete. Trying to hit Arnold on the right sideline.
He is a really good blocking tight end. And that allows him to get open a lot because, you know, he comes out to block a linebacker and they think, okay, well, let me take him on. And then he says, nope, I'm just slipping out for a pass. He gets himself wide open a lot.
So 2nd and 10 for KU. Down a touchdown here. Wild first quarter already. 3:26 to go. Bean keeps it. It's an option play, and Bean will late pitch it. Nice decision along the left side. That's Skinner inside the 15 all the way down to the 11.
You are always in trouble with the option when you let the quarterback keep the ball that long. You want to make sure the quarterback gets rid of the ball quickly and turn that play into just a sweep. But when you allow him to attack the contained man on the outside, that contained man is in no man's land. Do I take the quarterback or do I go to the pitch man? Excellent, excellent job by Kansas.
They really do so many different things on offense. And they execute them all. That's Morrison who comes in the backfield. Bean fakes it to him. Is going to throw toward the end zone. Knocked away, incomplete. Aguebu, the middle linebacker, with the coverage.
Yeah. That was a good job. I mean, there was no one open. There was no one open. This ball is forced, and fortunately for Kansas, it was not picked up. There you see Lawrence in perfect position. He was in a better spot to catch it than the attempted shot to get it to Cardell.
And that was Lawrence, not Aguebu. 12 versus 2. I'm struggling a little bit with the numbers for Oklahoma.
They didn't do us any favors.
It's hard to see who's who. Handoff left side, big hole. Touchdown, Kansas. Devin Neal. Back and forth we go.
I tell you, Mike Nowitzki, the center, not Dirk. Mike.
Everybody else calls him Dirk.
Yeah.
You can call him Mike.
He did a tremendous job. He cuts off the linebacker right up the middle. Watch him get up in the middle right there on the linebacker. And that just opened up the inside. Easy touchdown run for Neal.
And his nickname really is, I mean, his name is Mike Nowitzki, and for obvious reasons, everybody, and I mean everybody, calls him Dirk.
Yeah, well, he followed Leipold over here from Buffalo. Spent
Really
a couple
good
years there, yeah.
Yeah, really good. So both offenses looking great. Both defenses having some problems. That was 9 plays, 65 yards, 4.5 minutes.
You feel the anxiety here, right?
Yeah, their defense is just not playing well here in Norman. We got a shootout in the Big 12 with still a long way to go. Well, both teams have run the ball, thrown the ball, moved the ball, scored the ball. 2 drives for each side, 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns on the 4 drives of the game, and we're not even through the first quarter here in Norman.
Were you thinking shootout when we got to town?
I certainly was thinking the offenses were in a better position than the defenses.
Yeah.
I thought we might get a stop somewhere along the line, and I think we will.
Their
at some
defensive
point.
coaches pulling out their hair everywhere.
So the Jayhawks will kick it back to the Sooners. Kind of a low line drive kick will go into the end zone for a touchback. Let's see who's making the connection. Brought to you by Cintas. You know, not just all skilled guys in this game, right? We've had some great blocks too.
Takes some work up front to make a connection getting into the end zone. How about Willis giving you a great block here that allows Oklahoma to get a touchdown? Yeah, that was a tremendous block, Braden Willis. And on the other hand, you know, you look at the cut and you say the cut's great, but what about what's going on up front? That's Nowitzki with a tremendous block cutting off the linebacker so he can't get over and make the play.
So execution on the outside and up front. Gabriel with the play fake, and then the pass was really just dropped by Daniel Parker. And I don't know if Gabriel threw it a little harder than he was expecting or what, but that should have been a completion.
Yeah, I wonder if he could not see it as he looked back. I mean, this is on the money. But yeah.
He's like me with the uniform numbers. Pass off to the left side, and Marvin Mims gets shoved out of bounds. Short of a first down. It'll be 3rd down for OU.
Yeah, these uniform numbers aren't doing anybody up high any favors, not us, and certainly, you know, if the coaches for Kansas are trying to figure out who's coming in for Oklahoma, they got no shot at it.
Gabriel on 3rd down throws, and that pass is caught. Drake Stoops hangs on despite taking a hit and having the ball ripped at, but that's an OU first down. Saw his dad before the game. He's wearing the number 12 Drake Stoops jersey.
Said he was fan dad today. First time he got the chance to show up and wear his son's jersey at a game.
Here's Bob. I mean, Drake has really turned into a good player.
Yeah.
He's an important part of this team. Across the middle, and another completion. That's Willis. He can block and he can catch.
Attacking the safeties. Part of the game plan coming in. You know that Kansas likes to play 2 deep safeties most of the time.
Gabriel throws that one, nobody there, and I don't know if he was trying to hit Stoops or what. Incomplete.
Yeah, you know, the problem for Kansas is that they've not been able to get Lonnie Phelps loose. I mean, he's their outstanding defensive end pass rusher, and because the ball has been coming out so quickly, he's been a non-factor. This is one of the few throws timing was off. This is one of those things, you know, been away for a couple weeks, not a chance to really work as much as you'd like to with your old pals.
So 2nd and 10, and an option style play. Gabriel drops the ball. The ball's on the turf, and Kansas, I think, recovered it. Gabriel had a chance to get it, but it squirted away, and the Jayhawks come up with the turnover.
Now, we were told yesterday that Oklahoma would not shy away from the quarterback run game with Gabriel. And, you know, I'm a little surprised at that because he hasn't had a lot of contact. He's coming off of a concussion. And there's not a whole lot of depth behind him.
I mean, I think that's the main point is we saw what it looks like when Gabriel's not back there, and it doesn't look good for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So Aiden Hatcher came up with the recovery, and that's a big play here. We finally have a stop after Gabriel really just kind of dropped the ball. Bean's pass is batted away, knocked down, incomplete. Jalen Redmond got his hand up there.
Now, Gabriel has done such a really good job this season of taking care of the football. You know, it's surprising to see him put it on the ground.
So 2nd and 10 Jayhawks. Final minute and a half of quarter number 1. Bean hands it off left side, and again Oklahoma was there. Morrison got stuffed by Ethan Downs. I will say this, look, the offenses, and Kansas has had it twice, scored 2 touchdowns. Oklahoma's had more negative plays, more good plays for their defense than Kansas has.
They have to be happy with the more aggressive approach to 1st down and 2nd down. It's 3rd down. They haven't been able to stop Kansas. It's the pass defense, which has been an issue the last 3 weeks, is struggling this afternoon as well.
Good opportunity to get a stop here.
Yeah, they're getting in the mug of the offensive linemen. Are they coming or not? Showing pressure. Are they for real?
They did bring pressure. Bean throws over the middle, and it's almost intercepted, knocked away. Almost picked off by Key Lawrence.
Key Lawrence said, "You fooled me once. You were able to get that ball in earlier, not this time." Hanging back in the middle, he says, "I will not be split. I will recognize that I got to close and help." And he should have had a pick there.
That was not a great decision by Jason Bean, but he got away with it. So Marvin Mims back to receive, and OU's defense does get a stop, forces the first punt of the game on either side.
And Dylan Gabriel says thank you to his defense.
A line drive punt that's going to land at about the 10 and bounce into the end zone for a touchback. against Oklahoma's offense will come right back on the field. Let's get our first check today in studio with Kevin Connors.
All right, Flem, your AT&T 5G studio update. Ole Miss so great at running the ball, Acho, but how about the route by Dayton Wade here?
It's a double move, and what makes it so hard is that as a DB, you expect the ball to come out now, but it comes out a little bit later. You get beat on a double move. Wade gets his first career touchdown.
Jackson Dart the Dart, and it's 7-0 Ole Miss on ESPN, Flem.
Ole Miss, kind of like Oklahoma State in a way, undefeated. Not a ton of headlines around the country, but big games coming up.
We got a little shakeout coming this week and next week.
For sure. All right, Sooners back on the field, and a little end around kind of action to Drake Stoops for a nice gain of 12, maybe even 13 yards.
Kind of cool how the fans start yelling, Stoops, Stoops, every time he does something.
Play fake, no, handoff, and a nice run there. Javonte Barnes, who has a touchdown already. That will be, we think, I know they go quick tempo, but that's going to be the final play of the first quarter. Even Oklahoma couldn't get it snapped quickly enough. So the end of quarter number 1 in Norman. Defense kind of optional. A couple stops late in the quarter, but 2 touchdowns on each side, and it's 14-14 at the end of quarter number 1. And welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling TV. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Tiffany Blackman. 14-14 in Norman as we start quarter number 2. Brent Venables, Lance Leipold. Now Oklahoma with the ball, and their offense is moving, and when they aren't turning it over, Kansas is having a hard time stopping even a single play. Marvin Mims with another catch.
Yeah, Mims is getting involved. They're moving him around, getting the ball to him. And they should. You know, he should get 10, 12 targets a game or more.
Play fake. Gabriel in the pocket. Gabriel going deep. Left sideline. And caught. What a catch. Yeah, that's not Drake Stoops. That's Gavin Freeman, who's a true freshman, who started to play some more snaps. He may be playing more after that catch.
Yeah, the way he laid out and got that one.
The fans started to do the Stoops thing. That's not Drake. Little direct snap. Barnes. Touchdown, Oklahoma. His second of the game already. That did not take long.
No, and Oklahoma's blocking on the goal line has just been tremendous. I mean, these backs, Javonte Barnes has walked into the end zone twice.
Smile's been hard to come by for Brent Venables of late. He's got a nice smile. I'm glad to see it.
He says he's gotten a lot of calls and text messages from folks saying, "You okay? Hang in there." It's like, we'll be fine. Don't worry about me. But this touchdown was set up by the tremendous catch by Gavin Freeman. And you see the split receivers there, and the safety corner there actually confused as to where he should go. He was in a tough position, and then Freeman laid out with a great catch, and that set up the easy run. Look at the great block in the middle. Oh, is that 22? You know, we got no idea what these numbers from sometimes up here. Looks like a
Barnes with his second touchdown run. So OU turned it over on one of their drives. Otherwise, I mean, almost literally every play's been a positive. 10 plays, 9 plays. This one just 5 plays. It took less than a minute, 80 yards.
Yeah, let me give credit to Daniel Parker, 22, for that great block that got Barnes into the end zone.
So with Dylan Gabriel back, the Oklahoma offense, this is what it's supposed to look like. Jeff Lebby, I know they lost talent. They lost Caleb Williams. They lost Mario Williams. They lost some other players, but they have a lot of talent on the offensive side. So a touchback, Kansas getting the ball back. But first, let's go back to Kevin in studio.
Yeah, and Flem, a great start to our game. Great start to the day across the ESPN family of networks. Ole Miss, winners of 13 in a row at Vaught Hemingway on top of Auburn over on ESPN. Oklahoma fans don't mind seeing the score in the Iowa State-Texas game right now over on ABC. And The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina, one of the unbeatens in college football, on the short end of a 7-0 score on ESPNU.
Well, and it is true. Iowa State's offense is a shell of itself this year. No Breece Hall, no Brock Purdy, but their defense is really good. So pretty impressive to shut out Texas even for a quarter. Bean got away and then threw it incomplete.
Yeah, and you know, Kevin's reference to the Oklahoma fans being happy with that score. The Oklahoma fans have been a little cranky about a number of things. They're cranky with the defense of Oklahoma. They're cranky that Oklahoma State is doing well. They're really cranky that Lincoln Riley is doing well at USC. And they're very, very cranky that Texas blanked them 49-0 last week. That's a lot to be cranky about.
I'm not blaming him for any of those. Bean option, he'll pitch it. And Neal this time is shoved out of bounds. That one was much better defended by the Sooners. Deshaun White led the way. Let's go down to Tiffany.
You guys were just mentioning kind of the pressure that Oklahoma, these players are under on the outside. And, you know, when Coach Brent Venables talked to us, he said for them it's about blocking out the noise. They understand it comes with the territory of playing for Oklahoma, but to whom much is given, much is expected. He told his guys they've got to armor up. They know where they're at, and they don't want to be the team that we've seen over the last 3 weeks.
Isn't that the Spider-Man quote?
It is.
Okay. I'm good with it.
3rd and 10, Jayhawks. Bean in the pocket. Jason Bean now going to try to run. He's got that great speed, but he stumbled. He tripped. And he's well short. I mean, 2, maybe even 3 yards. If he'd kept his balance, he could have made a dive and gone forward, but he tripped.
Yeah, you know, the analytics would tell you 4th and 3 or less, you should go. But a lot of coaches don't care about the analytics and what they say when you are deep in your own territory.
Well, Kansas told us they use them. I mean, they have their charts, and it dictates a lot of what they do. So does Oklahoma, but deep in their own territory, they're going to punt for the 2nd straight time. So the OU defense showing some signs of life here. That kind of a low line drive punt, late fair catch, and then contact. And I think they're going to say incidental contact. So no penalty flag. That'll send us to a timeout. 12:51 to go first half. Sooners get the ball back, leading 21-14. Well, let's see what's coming up later today with our Crumble Cookies weekend menu. The game we've been talking about in the Big 12, OSU and TCU. Really good one on the ACC network, NC State and Syracuse. Clemson, Florida State under the lights in Tallahassee, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. And another good matchup on the SEC network, Kentucky and Mississippi State.
I think the Big 12 is wide open.
Dylan Gabriel swings it out left side and the cut up field, and a nice move for Oklahoma. That's Eric Gray, who's made a big impact in this first half.
That's a long handoff. Get your running back moving, get him in motion, get him outside of the box.
Gray did have to kind of hobble off the field, so Barnes comes in alongside Gabriel. 1st and 10 Sooners. Gabriel, another one of those kind of plays. The ball goes right through the hands of Bunkley Shelton.
You know, Dylan Gabriel has had a nice job. As you take a look at Gray, can't tell. Well, his mouthpiece came out. I'm not sure what else happened.
But he was limping, so something in the lower body. Looks like right leg with Eric Gray. That Stoops in motion. Straight ahead handoff. Barnes changed direction. Got to the 45 and stood up there. So it'll be 3rd down.
You know, Dylan Gabriel's had a really good day so far after being out for a couple weeks. A lot of talk about concussion, but, you know, he rested for a couple weeks and he looks fantastic.
So 3rd and 7 for the Sooners. They've been perfect on 3rd downs. 5 for 5 in this first half. And Kansas really hasn't gotten a stop. The only time they didn't give up points was when Gabriel dropped the ball. This one behind his intended target, incomplete.
Had him. Put it behind Mims. You know, and you could easily blame some of the timing issues on just, you know, getting back in and being normal. That one was behind Mims. tough one to try to catch. You know, there's been a lot of talk about concussions and concern about it. It's important to note that the Big 12 and Oklahoma were leaders in getting the policy changed in the Big 12 so that it is more player friendly, greater protection for players, making sure that any decisions are completely within the realm of the medical staff. No one else.
It is important to note. Glad you did. Timeout here in Norman, 21-14 Sooners.
ESPN College Football, presented by Sling TV, is brought to you by Crumble Cookies, America's game day dessert. Taste this week's rotating flavors.
Well, that's what it looked like the last time Kansas beat Oklahoma. You got to go back to 1997. Eric Vann had that 99-yard touchdown run. Some special teams play over the course of this 17-game Oklahoma win streak against the Jayhawks. I mean, it has been so lopsided. Average score about 44-14. 16 times in those 17 years the Sooners have been ranked. Only 3 times for the Jayhawks. Lance Leipold's team trying to snap that losing skid.
Kansas almost got him last year. They shut him out in the first half.
And it was a miracle play. I mean, truly just an incredible play and a fluky play that saved Oklahoma in that game. Thomas, play fake to him. Bean in the pocket, throws, and that one way behind his intended target. But a penalty flag is thrown. So the flag comes in.
This has got to be a hold. If it was pass interference, I'm not sure that ball was even catchable.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
You know, they do use the standard, though, that if Superman could catch the ball, it's catchable. You had hands on, hands on.
Yeah, and you could have called a hold.
Yeah, I thought that was more of a hold than pass interference because, again, hand was on the hip, but no turn. I think you could flag that for a hold.
All the motion here for the Jayhawks. Ends up in a pretty standard formation. Play fake. Bean trying to scramble. Jason Bean takes a big hit on the sideline. Got knocked out of bounds after a gain of maybe 4.
Is that Robert Spears-Jennings? I think that was 3. Yeah, he's the freshman. They really like him. Broken arrow. Oklahoma.
Ted Roof said, well, he gave him some snaps and he went in there and he threw his body around. And that's what we like to see. And that's exactly what he did on that play.
Yeah. Be careful running your quarterback today. Neither team has much depth behind the guy on the field.
And that was not a design run. That was just a scramble, but still a good point. Handoff straight ahead. Kai Thomas gets spun around and short by 3 yards of the first down. Third down coming up for the Jayhawks.
I am surprised that we've not seen more triple option from the Kansas offense. I mean, option is so hard to defend. Everybody must carry out their duty.
And maybe, to your point, maybe they don't want to expose Jason Bean.
Yeah, could be. We've seen it a couple of times, but not a lot of triple option so far.
3rd and 3. Jayhawks play fake. And the pass caught. Nice catch with the hands by Quentin Skinner for Kansas first down.
I mean, that shows you the breadth of this offense. They've got the triple option. That's an RPO. They have the spread concept. So you got all these different concepts that they've melded into one offense. And so defensively, you're trying to figure out or recognize what you get. And whenever they go a little up tempo, it's hard to get in the right position and recognize and see what's coming. Slower tempo, at least you have a chance to sort of diagnose things.
First and 10. Straight ahead handoff and well defended by Oklahoma. Well, since we were talking about it, last year Kansas came oh so close to taking down a really good Sooners team, and it was one of the plays of the year, I think, in college football that ended up saving Oklahoma. They were just incredible. Running back stuffed Caleb Williams, took it away from his teammate, and spun away and got the first down. And the reaction, truly the reaction from Rich Miller, who made the play, the linebacker, and thought that they were getting the ball back and essentially the game was going to be over. The reaction from Rich Miller after the play was just priceless. Bean now scrambling again, and he's going to go down. Now I think a flag is going to be thrown because I think the defender Isaiah Coe got a piece of the face mask.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And this is it's a good drive for Kansas. It's time consuming.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 94. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. And an automatic first down.
It's the right call. But this drive is slow, methodical. It's allowing the Kansas defense to not only catch their breath, but to have a little time to look at how to make adjustments for what Oklahoma is doing to them. So this drive really does help the Kansas defense as well.
The penalty helps because that was going to be a negative play. Instead, first down all the way down to the Oklahoma 35-yard line. 21-14 Sooners. Under 9 to go until halftime.
Let's see if they attack the single coverage on the bottom.
Kansas, they didn't get the playoff for the second time.
Prior to the snap, delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, well, we're in that part of the field where Kansas likes to use Quentin Skinner, a 6'5" wide receiver, very long, can really go up and get the ball. And whenever Oklahoma shows man coverage, that should be an audible. That should be a check to that matchup.
First and 15 after the penalty.
He's on the bottom right.
And now Kansas is calling a timeout. So the Jayhawks take a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 21-14 Sooners. Kansas on the move. And we'll be back to Norman.
Kevin and Sam, your Twisted Tea drop-in. Top 10 Big Ten heavyweight showdown. And few can bob and weave like Blake Corum.
Well, up to this point, Michigan had been out-rushing Penn State 94-1. But watch out, Penn State and Sean Clifford had a huge run.
Touchdown run right there to make it 13-0. Penn State knocking on the door on a 3rd and goal right now, Flynn.
Okay, keep us posted on that big game in the Big Ten. And our college football rankings brought to you by AT&T 5G. So that one going on. Ole Miss, no problem with Auburn so far.
We're going to have a shakeup in the top 10.
Just by default, because we got some of those head-to-head matchups. Kansas throw, and what a play! And was that intercepted? It was! Oh my goodness, C.J. Colden with one of the plays of the year. Wow, what an interception.
That was incredible. He had a man behind him wide open. He's in the short zone area and just shows you his ability to get up. And this ball needed to be thrown with more air, drop it over his head and in front of the safety. But instead, C.J. Colden gets up and makes, catch of the year, man. That's one of the catches of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you. The throw could have been better, but I'm focused on the interception. That is as good a play as you'll ever see. That was a truly great play by C.J. Colden, the Wyoming transfer, who really has played pretty well for the Sooners. So Oklahoma gets the ball back, little pitch play, and outside the 40 for a nice first down gain.
And Bean has had a little bit more of a tendency to turn the ball over with picks than Daniels has at quarterback, and that's shown up today.
2nd and 4, Oklahoma. That was a great interception. Looks like Eric Gray's back on the field. That's good news for the Sooners. And he'll empty the backfield. Dylan Gabriel in the pocket. Gabriel now scrambling. Gabriel's going to run. He'll get the first down, go into a slide right across midfield. Gain of 10.
And he always does slide, and that slide works, or it should work. It didn't work against TCU.
Yeah, sure wasn't Dylan Gabriel's fault. Going deep, and it is incomplete. He led Marvin Mims too far.
Yeah. Now, he's been very good about getting down and sliding, and you're right, it didn't work against TCU. It should have. But it's one of those things where, I mean, this is as egregious a targeting as I think you'll see in college football today. This is the kind of thing we've been trying to get out of the game. It's headhunting.
Yeah, and there is a distinction, right? Because lots of people are upset right now about targeting. Are we too overly sensitive, overly protective? We've seen some questionable targeting calls. That one is exactly the kind of play that everybody wants to eliminate.
Yeah, I mean, that one is as bad as you'll get.
The third down, Gabriel hands it off, and a nice cut for a first down and more. Eric Gray has done some excellent running in this first half.
He broke ankles in the middle of a crowd. He sent 2 Kansas players to their knees. Watch this move in here. 2 of them to their knees trying to make a tackle.
Then made another good move at the end of the play. Barnes comes in, and they'll give it to Barnes. He breaks more tackles. Bounces outside, inside the 25. Kansas's rush defense has actually been pretty good this year. Not today.
Not today. Not today. The Oklahoma offensive line has taken charge and taken control of that front. We've not heard anything from Lonnie Phelps, their outstanding defensive end.
The only time we've said his name is when you've said we haven't said his name. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Theo Weiss wide open. Very professional handshake at the end of that connection.
Well, something a little different. It's a pump fake. Looks like the double move that resulted in Kobe Bryant biting on the first move over there. You bite on that first move, you have to knock the receiver down. You can't let him just continue on because it results in a touchdown.
Man, Oklahoma's offense has been spectacular in this first half. Waiting for the extra point.
The previous play is under further review.
We're going to get a review. I think probably about out of bounds, inbounds with Theo Weiss. I would assume that's what they're looking at.
Yeah. And did he step out after he caught it or before? And if it was before, was he in bounds long enough to reestablish himself? Here's a view. You see the double move. He had Kobe Bryant just fall for the first fake.
I mean, I didn't think he stepped out of bounds. I mean, from that point on, he's definitely in. It would have been.
It seems to me if he stepped out before that, he reestablished himself. So I don't see any issue there.
After further review, the runner stayed out of inbounds. It's confirmed touchdown.
But the teaching point for the corner out there is if there is a double move like that, you have to tackle, grab the receiver. Take the penalty. Don't give up the touchdown. If you blow the double move and you say, oh, he fooled me, you got to take him out of the play.
So another touchdown for the Sooners. The extra point. Zach Schmidt, who's really had a great year kicking for Oklahoma. And that one right down the middle. So Oklahoma 4 touchdowns in the first half, and they lead 28-14.
Really, Oklahoma coming up with big plays. And listen, that's the pick of the year right there. And that pick got things going. And then you come right back. A little blown coverage on the back end. And Dillon Gabriel takes full advantage of it. Oklahoma answering the bell today.
Top Rank Boxing continues tonight in Melbourne, Australia. Coverage of the main card begins at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. So that's tonight, 10:30 Eastern. Oklahoma on homecoming, playing really well here in the first half. The offense for the Sooners has been just about unstoppable, and their defense has played a lot better after the first 2 drives of the game.
Yeah, they've picked it up in the second quarter a bit.
Kickoff again into the end zone for a touchback.
Let's go back to that touchdown pass. Now, a great pump fake, great execution by Oklahoma, but this play shouldn't be a touchdown. It should be a penalty. Now, Kobe Bryant, the corner, has his eyes in the right place. He sees quick pass right there. There's a breakdown. When you read that, now you go tackle the receiver. If that's what you read, you go get him. You get him out of the play. You don't decide, oops, because oops means a touchdown. A tremendous pump fake here by Dillon Gabriel. But when you get that pump fake, now you take the receiver out.
Kansas's offense got to get going again. Devin Neal gets the carry left side, and just not a lot of room for the Jayhawks running game in this first half. That was a positive gain of 5 on first down.
Yeah, they've been more focused on trying to throw the ball. I would like to see Ty Thomas touch the ball more. He's the backup running back. He's pretty explosive. Came over from Minnesota.
He's got 4 carries, 6 yards.
Yeah, I'd like to see them do a little bit more with him, do a little bit more of the triple option. They've gotten away from that.
Final 5 minutes of the first half. On second down, play fake. That's the option play, but Oklahoma was ready for it.
Yeah, played it great. Played it great. Oklahoma is dictating who gets the ball. And we talked earlier about you don't want the quarterback to go very far in the option game. You want to make him keep it or make a decision right away. And they had that played perfectly. Misread the dive, and they collapsed on him.
Danny Stutzman, who's made a couple really nice plays in the first half. But now another third down for the Kansas offense. Being pressured and goes down. David Agwebu came right up the middle and got to Jason Bean.
Good disguise, good confusion. They brought a linebacker inside. The offensive line was preoccupied with that. And Agwebu had a clear path to the quarterback. Watch this. You'll see more pressure inside. There's a twist, and there he is. The offensive line was more concerned with picking up the twist, didn't account for Agwebu. You know, they're coming up with the big plays today.
Might be the best stretch of defense that Oklahoma's played all year. These last, say, 3 or 4 possessions. Fair catch, not a long punt.
I don't think there's any question about it. What they've done in the second quarter is the best defense they've put on tape in 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, let's go down to the sideline and Tiffany.
Hey guys, Agwebu told me that he considers himself and his fellow linebackers Danny Stutzman and Deshaun White a 3-headed goat. He said they complement each other and all bring something different to the table. Stutz is super fast, he said. I'm the power guy, and D. White's a perfect mixture. Now, when I mentioned this to Ted Roof, their defensive coordinator, he looked at me like I had 3 heads, like what's a 3-headed goat? But hey, I told Agwebu I would work it into the broadcast, guys.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one.
Is it a 3-headed goat or the greatest of all time?
Gabriel across the middle, and that pass is caught. Mims went down to scoop it up. Another Oklahoma first down, and they're threatening again right away.
How good is that? That's like a shortstop picking one up perfectly.
And Marvin Mims, 34 yards from Gabriel.
How good is that? That's saving your quarterback. The throw is low, getting down there. That's awesome. Mims is such a talent. Good to see him back involved.
So the defense is playing well. The offense is just, I mean, it's a totally different unit than the one last week especially, but the last 3 weeks. Spin move, broken tackle, inside the 10, Gray, and touchdown.
Oh, just stop it. Just stop it.
Wow.
Oh, have a day, young man. Break a tackle, put him in the spin cycle.
56, 10-yard penalty.
And it's all coming back.
Down.
Flag on the field. The hold on Chris Murray. Bring it back.
Still, that's a highlight run. That is a highlight run.
It's a lot more of a highlight if it counts.
Yeah. I can't argue that, but that was beautiful.
He is playing really well. Brent Venables unhappy with that call. Now, the way Oklahoma's playing offense, that just means it'll delay the celebration for a minute or so. Maybe not even that.
Yeah, well, they've got this Kansas defense wired. And Kansas is not a heavy pressure team. And Dylan Gabriel has picked them apart with that too high safety look.
And off, huge, monstrous hold. There he goes to the 10, to the 5, touchdown. And no penalty flags on the field. Just give it to Eric Gray. He'll do it again.
Didn't you just say it was only delayed momentarily?
I thought it was going to take an extra minute. It took an extra 10 seconds.
Yeah, I tell you. Talk about domination up front. That offensive line created such big holes you could drive a truck through it. And then the cutback, my goodness.
Total yardage in the second quarter, I mean, about as lopsided as it can be. So the extra point up and good. It's 35-14.
Yeah, it's a great run, but really focus on what the offensive line does here. Look at how huge that hole is. They get on the linebackers. They drive everybody wide. And then you let Gray do his thing. And he's in the middle of the field. He's got great options. Backside is sealed off. There is no threat of any Kansas defender in the front seven getting a hand on him. That offensive line has dominated up front.
To the delight of the students here, our Taco Bell Live Moss student section. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Moss student section of the year all season long. 12 home losses for the Sooners since 1999. The fewest home losses in college football since then. That's going back a ways. And just, it's almost impossible to believe this is the same team that last week lost 49-0 to their rivals and basically did nothing well.
Right. And listen, this is a good Kansas Jayhawk team. You know, they've made a couple of mistakes that you don't normally see from them. The delay a game penalties have hurt them.
Touchback again, and we'll get a check in studio with Kevin.
Hey, and Fleming Rod coming up on the Geico Halftime Report. 6 top 25 battles here in Week 7. We'll check in on how Penn State has totally flipped the script on Michigan and Ann Arbor. Plus, a big one going on with Texas. We'll be adding a highlight there. They've just scored to go up on Iowa State. And Sam Acho on the key player in that Alabama-Tennessee game. All coming up on the Geico Halftime Report.
All right, so lots to talk about. We'll look forward to that.
And Sam will break that down. It helps if Bryce Young is in the lineup.
That would help big time if he's not, and I fully expect him to play. If he's not, they could really be in trouble. And off straight ahead, Kai Thomas. Jayhawks could use something positive here.
Sort of felt like Alabama has just been sort of gliding along, you know, not bringing their best yet, waiting for something to get their attention. I think Tennessee, I'm sure, has their attention.
Well, they didn't play great against Texas. A lot of penalties, a lot of sloppiness. They really did not play very well against Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think they felt like they were superior to both those teams.
Man in motion, Bean will check down short to a tight end. That's Mason Fairchild, and Kansas does get a much needed first down.
Yeah, this is a critical drive for Kansas. They need points. they get the ball to open the second half, and to get points in this possession and then get the ball back and a chance to get right back in the ball game.
Under 2 minutes to go until halftime. Neal gets the ball, big hole, left side. Devin Neal cuts it inside. Nice move to the 40, to the 35. Still on his feet inside the 20. A huge run from Devin Neal, who did not bounce it outside, and that was a great decision. That's 45, 46 yards.
Yeah, he made great decisions all along. Now, the contain man gets blocked out. There's a move inside, and you see the great block there to keep the contain man from kicking the ball inside. Oh, look at there.
Meanwhile, Bean across the middle, touchdown. Now there are 2 different penalty flags, so we'll see.
It was Mason Fairchild in the end zone.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, defense number 94. 12 players on the field on the defense number 94. Those penalties are declined. The result of play is a touchdown.
So on that play, Oklahoma jumped off sides, had too many men on the field, and didn't cover anybody.
Right.
Otherwise, they executed that play perfectly.
Mason Fairchild, we talked about him earlier, how he's such a great blocker that he sometimes get lost with the defense. He just slips out for a pass.
Now that does not solve Kansas's defensive issues, and there's still 1:36 seconds on the clock in the first half, which could be a big problem for the Jayhawks, but they needed that.
If they get a stop on the next series, then they have a chance when the second half opens to really cut into the lead.
They do get the ball to start the second half. Extra point up and good. So this is going to be an important drive here for the Kansas defense to try to feel like they are back in the game. Okay.
Yeah, wrong side and too many. And then how about staying with the tight end? Now, we've seen mistakes on the back end all season long for Oklahoma, just blown coverages. And this is another one. And it's always occurring when there are multiple receiving threats to one side for them. It's as if the guys aren't communicating very well as to, who they have or where they need to go.
Well, Brent Venables, a lot of positives on the defensive side before that sequence of a couple plays.
We've seen Mason Fairchild score on that exact play twice this season. He just gets ignored when he comes out of the backfield.
So Kansas will kick it back to the Sooners. Extremely powerful offense today. That kick is going to go for a touchback. Not out of bounds, barely. It's a touchback. All right, tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown. Before the rematch, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes relive crazy 13 seconds, maybe the wildest in NFL history. Examination of roughing the passer penalty, huge topic in the NFL, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And then Monday Night Football, it'll be Russell Wilson of the Broncos just trying to get things going against Justin Herbert and the Chargers in L.A. Monday Night Countdown gets it all started at 6 Eastern.
Plenty of time for Oklahoma here. 1:36.
I would say the way they've moved the ball, they're going to hand it off straight ahead, and they get a gain of 2, maybe 3 on first down. They have timeouts. They're not using one there.
Kansas is going to sit back in that too high safety look. 2 safeties playing deep, splitting the field, trying to keep the ball in front.
Oklahoma also has an excellent kicker. Swing pass right side and a good open field tackle now. Presumably the Sooners will call a timeout.
It's a heck of a play by Kalen Gervin.
I assumed, and they didn't. This one just baffles me why you wouldn't stop the clock. considering the way your offense has been moving the ball.
Yeah, I think their concern, 3rd and long, is not necessarily a gimme, so they don't want to necessarily leave time if they have to kick it. That's got to be the rationale.
Wow. I mean, this is just, for a team that has almost been
with you.
Unstoppable, this is really, really conservative. And they hand it off and get a nice gain out into the open field to midfield. To the 45, to the 40, and inside the 40. So the big run, when I think just about everybody knew that's what was coming. Another huge play from Eric Gray, and now the Sooners, I think, would be wishing that they had that time back.
Yeah, they probably lost a good 40 seconds there.
Oklahoma called their first time out of the half.
And maybe they're so explosive they're going to make up for it, but I just didn't get that at all.
I think they were worried about what would happen not making it, but you see a good block inside, making sure that they take care of Berryhill coming over so that he couldn't make the play. But you're right. That's 35, 40 seconds they could have saved.
I mean, Kansas does not have a quick tempo, explosive offense. They got a couple big plays on that last drive, but okay, worst case scenario, you call the timeout, don't get it, have to punt it away. Worst case scenario, a minute or less than a minute on the clock and 70 yards to cover.
I think there are about 80,000 fans in here who agree with you. In other words, you're preaching to the choir.
They may make up for it here after the big run from Gray for 36 yards, but that one I just didn't get.
Yeah.
Javonte Barnes in the game. Gabriel brings Stoops in motion on first down. Gabriel is going to throw middle, and that pass is caught across the middle. And the tackle at about the 20, stumbling forward, Farouk to the 15-yard line. 14 seconds on the clock. And Oklahoma will use its second timeout. It may not matter. They may get into the end zone anyway.
Of the half.
Kansas is going to have to make some adjustments at halftime. The soft bend but don't break too high look that they've been using has had way too many holes. And any time that they have switched that up and just gone to the single safety, they haven't been able to protect against the slant. So they're going to have to switch that up a little bit because Dylan Gabriel is just eating them alive.
Yeah, and it's an obvious point, but it's still worth making again. This offense with Dylan Gabriel back there is so different from what everybody watched last week.
You know, they don't have a lot of quarterback depth. We know that now. Remember, they lost Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler. They certainly went out and tried to get a number of guys, and they almost didn't get Dylan Gabriel. He was just a few minutes away from being committed to UCLA.
I mean, they have 472 yards. It's not halftime.
Yeah.
472.
Look at this defense by Kansas. They've dropped 8 near the goal line.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I have not either. They've conceded the field goal.
Now Kansas is going to call a timeout.
That sort of a defense invites Oklahoma to run the ball and see what they got enough timeout. See what they can do.
I mean, I'm with you. Give it to Eric Gray again.
Yeah. If they're going to put 8 guys on the goal line, run the ball.
And I know it's a different opponent and a different quarterback, but the offense last week against Texas is just incredible. They didn't score 3 yards of play, didn't even get to 200 total yards, threw for 39 yards last week.
The importance of Dylan Gabriel cannot be overstated.
You know, they have a big-time recruit, Nick Evers, but reading between the lines, they just don't feel like Nick is ready.
Not ready yet. Look at that. 8 guys inside the 10-yard line.
Amazing. They will throw it with a couple blockers ahead. The cut inside, diving for the pylon, and the signal is short. Marvin Mims thought he got there, but the signal is short.
Yeah, and that's like a running play. I just don't get it why you would put 8 guys that far back and allow them to be set up to get ahead of steam and run towards the goal line.
The previous play is under further review.
Kobe Bryant, the defensive back, in a lot of pain, man.
I honestly have never seen that arrangement, that lineup.
Oh boy, hope Kobe Bryant is okay.
Yeah, he is.
Does not look good.
No, he is.
Right foot or ankle.
It's good to see him at least make some movement there. Yeah, it's lower body.
Yeah, it's his. So they're going to review, because I really thought that Mims got real close.
Well, unless he stepped out of bounds, that's a touchdown because he did break the plane, but did he step out?
Maybe that left foot.
That left foot, yeah. Could you see it from that angle?
I just can't see clearly enough. I'm also trying not to look too closely because I don't want to see what I think is a pretty gruesome injury. I think we're shielded off, but Kobe Bryant's foot and ankle bent in the wrong direction, I believe. Well, there's 8 seconds. Even if they didn't get in, Oklahoma, I mean, I guess I got to take it all back. They've played it perfectly.
Yeah.
They have a chance to get in the end zone, even if this is short.
Well, to your point, they didn't know they were going to be able to rip off a big run like that.
So they're getting the air cast out for Kobe Bryant. The replay officials are going to have plenty of time to look at this. This is going to take a minute to get Kobe to the point where he's ready to come off the field. David Alvarez, our referee, part of this Big 12 crew. So they're getting the air cast on Kobe Bryant. They're getting the card out on the field.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. He is such a good player. And his team certainly needs him.
All right, so meanwhile, we are going to get a ruling from the replay officials.
After further review, the one on the field stands short of the goal line, first down.
And in all the players that were down there, I just don't know if you could really tell.
Yeah, we certainly couldn't, from the replays that we saw, we couldn't see anything definitive.
Some of the Oklahoma medical staff also helping the Kansas athletic trainers. Oh boy.
That is tough. It's tough to watch.
Well, our best to Kobe Bryant. Ooh.
That is a difficult ride when you've had that, because every little bump you feel. having been through that.
You feel it physically. You know what happened.
Yep.
So your mind already full of thoughts about what's next to come. Kobe Bryant, our very best to him.
Yeah, Oklahoma has lined up and they're ready to go. The cart is still on the field. All right, back off for a second, guys. 8 seconds. Oklahoma has a timeout.
If they didn't have a timeout, then you'd have more debate about do we go for it here?
Well, the way that offensive line has been playing, there's no question they should be going for it here, and they've got the timeout if they don't get in.
So it'll be Barnes in the backfield. 8 seconds to go until halftime. 5 plays, 74 yards. And Dylan Gabriel, did he spike it?
Operator, please set the game clock to 7 seconds, please. 7.
Okay, so they ran a play to clock the ball.
Thank you.
Huh. Okay.
7
Stop the clock,
seconds
yeah. All right.
on the clock. Keep their timeout. Now it's 2nd and goal.
Loaded backfield.
And the play stops. Timeout Kansas right before the ball was snapped.
Final snap. Kansas from the 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Yeah, that was a
30 seconds in length.
formation that Kansas had not anticipated.
Oklahoma sort of tipped their hand as to what they were running. So another timeout here. 2 big games coming up
for the timeout.
later today on ABC. Undefeated Big 12 team squaring off. Number 8 Oklahoma State, number 13 TCU. 3:30 Eastern down in Fort Worth, and then at 7:30 Eastern, Clemson on the road to take on 4-2 Florida State in Tallahassee. Pat McAfee and his gang, they have their alternate telecast on ESPN2 tonight. Clemson and Florida State.
I would not be surprised to see Florida State give Clemson a real battle tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him win the game.
Yeah.
Clemson's played a little better on offense lately, but Florida State 4-2 could be even better. So that's a real test for a top 5 Clemson team. All right, so now Oklahoma's offense. 7 seconds on the clock.
If you're Oklahoma, I think you have to trust this offensive line. They have been so dominant today.
Gabriel under center, handoff straight ahead and stopped. The stuff at the goal line. Now Oklahoma's got to make sure they get that timeout in time, and they do. 2 seconds on the clock.
Jeremy Robinson was one of the main guys to get in there and make that
Timeout.
play.
Oklahoma, the 3rd and final timeout of the half. 60 seconds in length.
So another timeout.
Just watch the explosiveness on the right side by Robinson. 90 getting in there. A little help inside also. But that's the best defensive run stop Kansas has had all day.
So now you actually do have a decision. Do you go and figure if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we get no points?
The way they've been moving the ball and the way that Brent Venables talked about, you know, the burden of expectations and trying to play with some joy and let the guys have some fun, I got to believe he's going for it here. I just don't see him going a field goal is going to be satisfying.
I'm with you. But we'll see what Oklahoma decides to do. 2 seconds on the clock.
I mean, low man always wins, and Kansas got lower. And Robinson was not going to be denied. He was not letting go.
And it's not the field goal team coming out there.
So for Kansas, defensively, you have to make sure that your edge guys, your overhang guys, keep contained, because Dylan Gabriel could come out of the side.
Quickly under center. Barnes again. Barnes is not going to get there. So the Kansas defense comes up with a huge stop after all that. Kenny Logan got into the backfield and stuffed Javante Barnes. What an insane final drive with everything that happened, and ultimately no points.
Kenny Logan comes from the backside. He recognized this is an all-American play. You got a guy who's contained, and he sees the play away from him, and he just goes for it and chases it down from the backside. You could criticize the offense for not blocking the backside, but Kenny Logan, what a tremendous play.
So maybe a game saver for the Jayhawks. 35-21. That's our halftime score. Time for the Geico halftime report. Kevin, take it away. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling TV on homecoming day in Norman, Oklahoma. We start the second half, and the Sooners with a 2-touchdown lead over the Kansas Jayhawks, 35-21. Dave Fleming, Rod Gilmore, Tiffany Blackman back with you. Rod, Oklahoma fans can pretend they never watched those last two plays of the first half. Otherwise, their offense was basically unstoppable.
Yeah, you know, that poor clock management cost them a touchdown. But they got a lot of touchdowns in that second quarter. The offense was humming, and they had it rolling pretty much the way they wanted it to. I mean, Dylan Gabriel back makes a big difference, you know, and get the running game going. How about a little bit of Javante Barnes into the end zone? Great blocking up front, makes it really easy. And how about a little double move, pump and go, Weiss to the end zone easily, and then Mr. Gray comes back to get his touchdown after a beautiful run was taken back by penalty. Comes right back with another spectacular run. And again, they had a shot at another touchdown right before the end of the half, but goal line stand by Kansas and poor clock management.
487 yards in the first half for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Curious to see the adjustments that Kansas makes it at halftime. Too many holes in their too high, too deep look. They've got to start disguising better or changing up their coverage more often.
They have to do something different, because until those last couple plays, basically nothing they were doing worked on defense. And let's go down to Tiffany.
Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update on Kansas injured corner Kobe Bryant. He did leave the field on a cart after having that left ankle foot kind of rolled up nearing the end of the first half. Some good news here, though, is that he did not go to the hospital. They did x-rays here. I'm also told that we could see him back out on the sidelines. His day's over, but he might be just cheering on his teammates, guys.
Well, that would be really good news, because it did not look good. First play of the second half. Devin Neal gets the handoff for Kansas.
Good counter play for Kansas. Haven't seen a lot of that today. One of the things I'm sure they talked about at halftime. Bring a couple linemen from the left side to the right side. Block down everybody else, and you get a good gain to start your drive.
Devin Neal's having a really nice afternoon. 8 carries, 83 yards.
Okay, he's a guy who grew up in Lawrence. He knows the long history and painful losses in this series, and also of Kansas football for the last 15 or so years.
His childhood and early adulthood not full of great Kansas football memories, but he's helping big time turn this program around. Bean got the first down and then quickly went into a slide.
Yeah, he probably should have given Neal the ball sooner instead of running it himself. Let Neal make that play out there one-on-one, see if something can happen. You know, talking about Neal, I mean, he was a highly recruited running back. Could have chosen to go elsewhere. There was a good slide. Ooh. And an attempt at head hunting, but missing.
There was a tiny little contact there, but fortunately for OU, no more than that. Neal straight ahead for a couple yards on first down.
Most of the big plays that Kansas has had this season, 20 yards or more, they've occurred on first down or second down. And so defensively for Oklahoma, you have to be careful here, making sure you don't get caught in single coverage.
OU almost jumped off sides, and then the ball batted down. Attempting to hit Neal. Deshaun White was coming in pressure, and he got his hands on the ball.
Good defensive set for Oklahoma. They get the 3rd and long that they've been looking for. Now, can Kansas protect Jason Bean? When he's had time, he's been really effective.
That's another one from Bean where a different kind of throw was needed. He's had a few of those. 3rd and 8. Just a 4-man rush. Bean delivers, and that one's intercepted. Intercepted by White. What a back-to-back sequence for Deshaun White. He knocked one pass down, and then the very next pass, he picks it off.
He was sitting in a short zone and just reading Bean's eyes. Watched him from the start. And he just waited and waited and waited. Never took his eyes off of him and knew exactly where that ball was going. Did he bait him? Absolutely.
Well, it's not as spectacular maybe as the interception by C.J. Colden, but in a way it was even more savvy, and Jason Bean has just not played a great game today.
2nd pick of the game for him.
He's made some mistakes. Handoff, first play of scrimmage for Oklahoma, and the ground game for the Sooners. Big chunks over and over again. Once again, Eric Gray
making guys miss.
Officials timeout for an injury to a defensive player.
So another Kansas player is down. Taiwan Berry-Hill. Berry-Hill sort of holding that left arm or shoulder.
He would be the 2nd starter on the back end, the back 7, to lead the game for Kansas.
I knew the total yardage was big number in the first half. Most for Oklahoma since a game in 1986 against Missouri.
Wow.
They've had a lot of good offensive teams since then. Play fake. Gabriel across the middle. Another perfect pass. And this one caught by Drake Stoops for an OU first down.
Yeah, run pass option. You saw the run fake, bring up the linebackers and safeties, and simply throw the ball right behind them.
Gabriel throw into traffic. Man, KU read that one that time. That was Mello Dotson. And I think for Gabriel, luckily, it was too high.
Yeah, Dotson recognized that right from the start. And a throw on target. It's a pick 6. Look where he is on this. He was in better position than either receiver. One was actually a blocking receiver.
So 2nd and 10. Handoff left side, bouncing it. Eric Gray. And he'll get tackled across the 20, just a couple yards short of the first down.
Yeah, Oklahoma got away with a hold on the edge there, which allowed Gray to get outside.
Brings his average per carry down 8 yards. Not good enough. He'd been averaging 12 a rush. He'll get it here, and he gets through the middle for an OU first down, and probably 1st and goal. He got right to the 10.
Now, this is what we saw most of the first half against that Kansas front until they stood up on that goal line stand. And this Oklahoma offensive line had been pushing them around all day, much like this drive, and then could not push it in right before the end of the half.
Barnes in the backfield. Gabriel faked it to him. Now Gabriel keeping it, gets wrapped up.
I don't know about you, but every time he takes off running the ball, kind of hold my breath.
Well, and look, I think you made the point well early in the game. It's part of his game. You don't want to limit that.
Yeah.
He's healthy. He's fully good to go. But for OU fans, we've seen what this offense looks like without him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the season's over without him, but it's a totally different team if he goes down again. Across the middle, incomplete. And Braden Willis was looking for a hold himself.
You won't say it, but I will. If Dylan Gabriel was not quarterbacking, the season is over. You see the difference. And this one here, just a little too much mustard on it, but Willis says, that wasn't held. That's a perfect throw.
So now it's 3rd and goal from just inside the 10.
And Kansas will not play man coverage down here. They'll do a little picket fence, try to see the quarterback and the receiver simultaneously.
Gabriel from the pocket throws, and it's caught right at the goal line with the big hit. Short of the goal line, Willis hung on to the ball, but now it's 4th and goal inside the 1.
Willis is 6'4", 240 pounds.
And OU not wasting any time. They're going for it. The handoff, and the play was blown dead. And now some pushing and shoving away from the ball. That was Gabriel who had it. It was a fake.
Snap to the page from the booth. The previous play is under further review.
So it was the booth, the replay booth, that stopped action. They want to see if that last play was a touchdown. I think the call on the field was exactly right.
Yeah. From that angle, it didn't look like the ball broke the plane. It's a really big hit. Good hit right at about the 1 or half yard line. You see the frustration in Kansas.
Yeah, O.J. Burroughs was frustrated that he didn't knock it away incomplete, but he did make a good play in keeping Willis from getting in the end zone.
He's 185 pounds, hitting a 240-pound grown man, 6'4". He hit him with everything he had.
Kansas is trying to get bigger and stronger. They have a ways to go still, but
what did Lance Leipold, the head coach, told us? He says, we don't win the eye test getting off the bus. We don't look like the Blue Bloods. You're not going to see us get off the bus and go, wow, that is a great-looking football team.
And yet they've played like a top 20 team this year, still ranked 19th even after their first loss last week. Today's been a little different story. Their defense has been abused today.
After further review, the run on the field stands.
There's more building to be done at Kansas to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
So now Oklahoma has had some time to think about it. It'll be 4th and goal. A ruling on the field stands.
Still think the way their offensive line has played, I think you just rely on them. You trust them right now.
It'll be Javonte Barnes in the backfield alongside Gabriel. Gabriel not under center like at the end of the first half. He's in the shotgun. And he keeps it. Gabriel stretches. A helmet flies off. Touchdown, Oklahoma. There is a penalty flag down.
Now, Flem, that was the play they wanted to run at the end of the first half, but Kansas called a timeout, and then they didn't come back to it. At least not until now.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 7 for a headbutt. That 50-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Lorenzo Matasco, the headbutt after the play. But this was the play they wanted to run at the end of the first half, but Kansas called a timeout, and then they gave up on that play, and then they couldn't get into the end zone. So they come back down here this time, and they pull it out again, and it works.
Extra point up and good. Nothing near the goal line today has been simple.
It's been a bit of an adventure down there.
As soon as a touchdown scored, start the stopwatch. Brent Venables in Oklahoma punch it in again. The Sooners offense has been awesome today, and they're taking it to Kansas. You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Almost summer-like here in October in Norman, Oklahoma, and a more normal-looking Sooners performance, that's for sure. Spectacular on offense. 42-21. Was still a long way to go. 10:16 on the clock, third quarter. The penalty means that the place kicker can try to kick it through the uprights. He won't exactly do that. Let's go down on the field to Tiffany.
Dave, you and Rod were talking about it earlier, whether or not Kansas may be having some difficulty identifying the Oklahoma players with these special jerseys on. Well, I did ask Coach Leipold about that, and with a smirk he said, it's not the jerseys giving us problems, it's the guys in them.
Yeah, well, there's not any question that from an eyeball test and recruiting ranking, Oklahoma is far superior.
Hand off for Kansas, and nowhere to go, straight up the middle. One of the Kansas coaches told us, and not trying to knock their own players, because I think they love this group of players, and they played really well, but the point was, for many of our players, Kansas was the only Power 5, and in some cases only FBS football offer.
Yeah, that's right. And the point about the jersey numbers, it is illegal, and you can be penalized for having numbers that can't be recognized from the booth by coaches of the opposing team.
2nd and 11, another handoff, and again Devin Neal just not a lot of room there. Guebu with the tackle. It's 3rd and long.
I don't think there's any question that the Kansas offense has been out of sync without Jalen Daniels. You know, we haven't seen a lot of the normal offense. We haven't seen as much of the triple option. We haven't seen as much of the misdirection, not as much movement. They've gone more towards trying to get the passing game going.
Jason Bean's got experience. He played well last week. Oklahoma is going to burn a timeout here.
Timeout. Oklahoma.
But there is no doubt Kansas has missed Jalen Daniels today.
Yeah, big time. I mean, he is such a confident and instinctive runner. He throws with a lot of touch. That's not to suggest that Bean isn't a good quarterback. The issue that he's had today, obviously, has been taking care of the football. 2 picks. You know, he had a pick last week. But they tend to want to get the ball more down the field with him. And attacking the Oklahoma safeties is an appropriate thing to do. But it's been the intermediate and short passes that have been an issue, and he hasn't seen the underneath zone coverages.
7 completions plus 2 interceptions total for the game. Now 3rd and very long, almost 10. Shotgun snap. Bean, almost a designed looking run, and Bean can't get away. Man, great closing play by Key Lawrence, who's made some big time plays for Oklahoma. It's 4th down.
Lawrence has had a day. You know, one of the issues for this defense has been poor open field tackling. It's such a hard thing to practice because it's risky, but he's made 2 or 3 fantastic open field tackles, not to mention other plays.
So Kansas will punt the ball away. Fair catch signal at the 23-yard line. That's where Oklahoma will have the ball when we come back to Norman. 42-21, Sooners with the lead.
back here in Norman, the Oklahoma defense has had trouble for the last few weeks. Take a look back against Texas, TCU. Look at this problem. It's a 3 deep coverage, right? Just play your deep third. Instead, what happens is the corner on the bottom is trying to help his linebacker who's already in the right spot, and the receiver runs into the vacated deep third. A fundamental basic error. Simply do your job and you'll be fine. Today, what they're doing their job. You go inside, I go outside, we wrap up the quarterback. I got an underneath zone, force the quarterback to throw the ball over me, I get up, I make a pick. And then the rush inside. They've done a really good job of just doing their job, being the basic fundamental team they need to be.
OU's offense back on the field, and a run by Barnes for a short gain on first down. Just a massive improvement.
Yeah. I mean, the last 3 games, they were just awful. And, you know, we worked through the tape. You work through the tape of the last 3 weeks, and you see blown coverages. You see guys trying to do too much. You don't see schematic problems. You just see, you know, guys not being disciplined enough. And I think that changed this week.
Well, and you noticed Brent Venables in practice earlier in the week, taking a pretty darn hands-on role.
Yeah, we saw him Thursday in practice, very hands-on with the defense. And I think that probably had an impact on the way they're playing today.
Third down, nice pass, Gabriel to Mims, who cuts it middle, got knocked off balance, but easily a first down for Marvin Mims.
Yeah. You know, and I think sometimes when you become a head coach, you forget about the thing you're an expert at.
Gabriel down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Penalty flag, though. Farouk, the intended receiver.
Well, that was Gervin who got his hands up around the shoulder pads.
Number 16, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah. It's the hands up around the shoulder pads preventing the receiver from being able to make a play. He was in great position. All he had to do was turn around and keep his hands down. I mean, if you're going to get your hands on the receiver, get the hands down low.
So first down with the penalty. Gabriel. Interception. Picked off by Kenny Logan. And Kenny Logan back across midfield. Dylan Gabriel, who hadn't had one of those all year, throws one to Kansas.
Yeah, threw it right to him. He was throwing to a spot, and Kenny Logan was in that spot. I mean, this is an RPO, and he just throws to that spot where he expects his receiver to be, but instead finds Kenny Logan.
So the turnover for KU. 6:49 to go, third quarter. I mean, that's what Jeff Levy's been most happy about with his quarterback, protecting the ball this year. He's fumbled it and thrown an interception today. So now the Jayhawks offense back on the field, trying to make a game of it. Bean's going to go down the sideline, incomplete.
They really have not gotten much out of the wide receivers today, in particular Quentin Skinner. I expected him to be a real factor, particularly if they were able to match him against safeties.
Well,
he's got one catch today for 7 yards.
Lawrence Arnold had the spectacular touchdown catch. Otherwise, it's mostly been the tight end. A little bit of a trick play, and the pitch back to Luke Grimm with a blocker in front. Grimm down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Kansas is not out of this yet. Just a little end around inside toss there to Grimm. This will be a big score for them to get back in this game.
Play fake from Bean, who's got all kinds of time over the middle, and a nice catch going up to get the ball, and then fighting for the goal line. Lawrence Arnold, touchdown. His second of the day, and both of them have been spectacular.
A tremendous route concept. They ran one receiver deep to clear out the middle of the field, and then brought Arnold underneath. And you'll see there's one route deep in the middle, and then here comes Arnold underneath that. Really well done.
Just 3 plays after the interception, and the Jayhawks find the end zone in under a minute. That's exactly what they needed. Points, and quickly.
How about Bean delivering that ball on the money?
That was a good one. Extra point, up, and good. So maybe the Jayhawks are not done yet this afternoon.
Well, back in Norma, Kansas just cut this lead to 14 with this touchdown pass. Look, they've got 2 receivers to the right, Skinner to the outside, Arnold inside. The free safety, single high free safety. Watch how Skinner, 83, the outside receiver, occupies him, clears out the middle of the field, and that opens it up for Arnold to come underneath, catch that, and fight his way into the end zone. Great route concept, attacking that single high safety, and that has brought Kansas back into this game, a 14-point Oklahoma lead.
So now the Sooners offense will be back on the field. A touchback, but first let's check in studio with Kevin.
Yeah, and Flem, a terrific Penn State defense is being gashed today, Acho, by Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum.
Each of those running backs has over 100 yards. The team has over 300 rushing yards. This 61-yard rush, the 3rd longest play of the game.
Edwards has a 67-yard touchdown run, 31-17 Michigan. Elsewhere, the Horns having one heck of a time with Hunter Deckers and Iowa State.
Iowa State has beat Texas the last 3 times they played. They're trying to make it 4.
Deckers 2 touchdown passes as well. Iowa State up 21-17, guys.
Wow, keep us posted on that one. Now that would be a shocker, I think, just based on, look, you and I were in Lubbock. We saw Texas Tech take down Texas. Run play on first down for the Sooners. It's not like the Longhorns are invincible, but when Quinn Ewers has been their quarterback this year,
big difference.
They've been really, really good.
Yep.
Second down for OU, and the little swing pass out to Marvin Mims. Another Sooners first down.
Yeah, Jeff Levy, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, has really mixed things up nicely. Rushing attack, RPO game, quick passes outside.
Gabriel is going to go down. He got sacked. I think the player who got the sack was held, and it didn't matter. Craig Young. Penalty flag, I believe, is going to be against OU, and I would assume it'd be declined.
I was just about to say.
Offense number 64. That penalty is declined. Second down.
What a good job Oklahoma has done today protecting Dylan Gabriel. It was really one of the main things coming in. As you see, that's Morris on the right side, and it's a speed rush, and that's a horse collar. Lasso.
If you're going to hold, might as well
get your money's worth.
Might as well get your money's worth. Wanya Morris committed the penalty that was declined. The sack stands. Second down and long, and the Sooners get that sack yardage back and then some out across the 45 to set up 3rd down and about 4.
Gray doesn't waste any time. He attacks upfield right away.
Good player. Eric Gray's over 150 yards rushing. He also has a couple catches in the game.
Again, Kansas is not a heavy pressure team. This would be a good time for it.
3rd and 5. Gabriel wide open, right sideline. First down and much more into Kansas territory. Theo Weiss.
Brought some pressure outside, but you can't leave the wide receiver open.
That's making it easy.
Yeah, that's too
offense.
easy.
First down, left side handoff.
I mean, we've seen Kansas defensively do things today that we haven't seen them do all season. leaving a wide receiver completely wide open just because he comes across the formation.
Second down run. And stopped just short of the first down. Javonte Barnes again.
I mean, that's a mistake you should never make. I mean, if you're in man coverage, somebody's going with him. If you're in zone coverage, you see him coming your way, you got to back out that way and handle him.
Barnes took a big hit. The helmet popped off from Lorenzo McCaskill, but enough power for Barnes to get the first down.
That's a nice 1-2 combination they have in the backfield.
And they'll use the combo. Gray will come back on the field.
Dylan Gabriel, his ability to throw the ball just really opens up the rushing attack.
Gabriel in the pocket. Now trying to get away. Gabriel will get wrestled to the ground. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage to officially avoid the sack.
I mentioned that they almost didn't get Dylan Gabriel here at Oklahoma. The whole UCLA thing. He was about to enroll there.
Yeah, he had announced he was going to go to UCLA. Caleb Williams hadn't officially left here, and Brent Venables. There's some gray area about how it all went down, but Brent Venables wasn't trying to run Caleb Williams away. So he told Dylan Gabriel, he said, look, I can't guarantee you if you come here, we want you, but I can't guarantee you you're going to have the job. That pass complete along the sideline. Willis, and he got in. Touchdown. He stayed in bounds. What a play by Braden Willis.
Another Oklahoma receiver wide open. Kansas losing track of receivers on almost back-to-back plays.
Well, and another just spectacular effort by an individual OU player, Willis. He was wide open, but to get to the end zone there, that took some balance.
Listen, Willis has had a day, and he started the day with some tremendous blocks and has made some tremendous catches. Gotten into the end zone once, could have been a second time, just barely did get in.
He has. He's played a great game. Extra point up and good. And they're happy that Dylan Gabriel did decide to come to Oklahoma because he can play.
Yeah, you can flex when you do that. And again, a blown coverage on the backside, completely wide open. We just have not seen Kansas lose these things like this all season.
So another OU touchdown. It's 49-28. Oklahoma's up over 600 total yards.
Wow.
Dylan Gabriel's been a big part of that. For more on him, let's go down to Tiffany.
Well, guys, one of the reasons Oklahoma was able to land Gabriel was because Brent Venables told us offensive coordinator Jeff Levy being here. Dylan's relationship with Levy goes all the way back to when Levy recruited him out of high school to go play when they were both at UCF. I asked Levy what he saw in a young Dylan back then. He said he saw a young man that was cool, calm, and collected, unshakable, unbreakable, and loved playing football. With so much history, Dylan told me his coach is family and that he knows how much Levy loves him, and that pushes him to be better.
Thank you, Tiffany. Rod, you were also talking about Jeff Levy. And we'll continue that train of thought. But first, we got to get another update in studio with Kevin.
Second screen viewing suggestions right now. Texas has just called a timeout over on ABC. 4th and goal. They're down 4 against Iowa State. Elsewhere, Jackson Dart, 3 touchdown passes. Ole Miss on top of Auburn on ESPN in a really entertaining game. And Coastal Carolina, one of 15 remaining unbeatens, losing over on ESPNU.
All right, Kevin, thanks. First down for the Jayhawks, and Bean, a nice delivery to Lawrence Arnold, who's having a good game for the Jayhawks. 1st and 10 Kansas. So Ole Miss, that's where Jeff Levy was before he followed Brent Venables here to Oklahoma. And it's my opinion, but I think Jeff Levy is one of the top offensive coaches, play callers in the country.
Not going to get an argument here. And he has proven that over the years. And he is showing it here with Oklahoma.
He's still only 38 years old.
Yeah.
But I do think last week, there was a lot of rumbling about every part of this Oklahoma team. It was so ugly last week. Bean on the move, looking downfield, just kind of heaves it down there. And I don't know if he was throwing that away or not. I don't know.
I'm not sure he did. He put it out there. But you can see, Jason Bean can throw the ball. He's got some arm on him. And I do believe that his strength is really the longer throws, the deep throws. As we've seen today, a little bit more trouble against zone coverage with the intermediate throws. But if he gets a chance to attack the safeties, he puts that ball out there.
Second and 10. Jared Casey, the tight end, came in motion. Handoff and a big open field tackle for OU.
Hello.
Key Lawrence again.
Man, he has had a day. We talked about all the missed tackles that Oklahoma's had. You're not missing that one. Head up when he goes low. Keeps his head up, uses his shoulder.
So now it's third down. And Kansas, I think they moved illegally. Yeah, they did. Lawrence Arnold, the wide receiver, maybe.
False start. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
How much of the crowd environment do you think has been a factor for Kansas? Not being Kansas, not a little different than what we've seen all year.
Yeah, I don't know, because look, it's different here than at West Virginia and at Houston, but they had played very well on the road coming into this game. And West Virginia can be a loud crowd. Third and long. Bean in the pocket. Out of the pocket. Bean going to run to midfield, gets out of bounds there. And it's the point of the game where you're down 49-28. They're sending the punt team out there. I figure if they had a chance to win, you got to be super aggressive here. But they're going to punt it away.
Not feeling very confident about their ability to pick that up, obviously, and giving a short field to Oklahoma.
It just doesn't matter how long the field's been.
Well, yeah,
they haven't stopped them at all.
No, you got a point there. They've moved it at will.
And I think your point is probably the right one. They just aren't that confident. But you're at the point of the game where maybe that shouldn't matter. This punt's going to bounce.
I think if it were 20 seconds later in the fourth quarter, he probably would have taken the shot.
Well, 2 big games coming up on ABC later today. First, here in the Big 12, number 8 undefeated Oklahoma State, number 13 undefeated TCU. That's at 3:30 Eastern, so just about a half hour from now. And then at 7:30 Eastern, number 4 Clemson and 4-2 Florida State in Tallahassee. You get the McAfee crew on ESPN2 tonight for that one.
That should be fun.
What, the game or McAfee?
The McAfee. I mean, I got a feeling that's going to be pretty hilarious.
Is there a body of water in Tallahassee?
If there is, he'll find it.
The times I've been there, I haven't seen a ton of that. Maybe you can find the swamp pretty close by. The throw across the middle, knocked away.
What a play.
Incomplete.
If you go underneath, you better make the play, because that is otherwise a touchdown.
Mello Dotson got his hand on it.
Yeah, went underneath.
Maybe.
Got enough to distract the receiver.
Yeah, okay. That's a good way to put it. .11 seconds to go, third quarter. And the straight ahead run for OU will be the final play of quarter number 3. Wasn't as spectacular in terms of the points scored, but still a lot of spectacular stuff from the Sooners today.
Yeah, they've done a job. Defense has stepped up nicely, made some big plays, and boy, nothing like having Dylan Gabriel back. He has been everything they needed and more. Oklahoma looking good.
Well, we start quarter number 4 here in Norman, 49-28. Another 2 touchdowns for the Sooners in the third quarter. At 628 total yards for the game. Oklahoma has the ball as we start quarter number 4. It's 3rd and 6. Gabriel in the shotgun, and that one is complete. He threw the little slant to Drake Stoops with some pressure coming. That was a nice delivery for a first down.
Yeah, and a heck of a catch. One of the few times Kansas went man, and Stoops got inside and made the catch.
And hopefully that limp from Dylan Gabriel was just maybe bang knees with someone, something like that. He's staying in the game. Going to throw it here, complete for a gain out to the 30 of just a few yards.
Mello Dotson took his eyes off of Dylan Gabriel. He watched him on a throw like that earlier and almost picked it off. Had he been watching him that time, he would have taken that one to the house.
Gabriel, the ball flung out of his hands, kind of popped in the air. There was no whistle and no indication of an incomplete pass. Kansas has it for now, and we'll see if that's a fumble or an incompletion.
Well, Dotson did exactly what I was talking about. He kept his eyes on Dylan Gabriel, and Gabriel looked over there to throw the ball like he did the previous play, and at the last second he goes, I can't, he's right there. Now he might have had the ball tipped by his running back.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
He got it knocked out. He didn't hesitate. The ball was knocked out of his hand by his own teammate.
Well, had he thrown that ball, that was going to be a pick six, because Dotson was standing where his receiver was.
Wow. It was just kind of freaky. Javante Barnes forced the turnover.
Yeah. Weird. But that would have been an awful throw had he made it.
Well, the result wasn't any better, really. Bean flips it back, and that play well defended. Now Kansas, Tanaka Scott avoided a big loss. I think OU fans thought there was a hold. I kind of did too. No penalty flag. All that gained a yard.
A lot of trickeration, but you don't get the blocks by your receiver on the edge. Now that was Torrey Lachlan, number 12, who failed to get the block out there in space, which would have given that play a better chance. There should be some sense of urgency, shouldn't there be?
There should be. There's a full quarter left. If you punch it in here, you're down a couple scores. Bean completes that one short of the 20 and well short of the first down. Lawrence Arnold with another catch.
The tackling by Oklahoma has been so much better than it has been the last 3 weeks. I still like the matchup with Skinner down here. 83 Quentin Skinner. They haven't really targeted him much today.
Handoff straight ahead. Kai Thomas, first down Kansas. Down to the 15. All that movement, all that shuffling, and then just a handoff straight ahead.
Yeah, it's good to see Kai Thomas run the ball, get a chance to do his thing. Good hard runner. When he left Minnesota to come back to Kansas, he tweeted out to the world, I'm coming home. Enough time sitting behind Mo Ibrahim for this season. Didn't want to do that.
1st and 10 Jayhawks. Bean in the pocket, takes off. Bean to the 5. Bean tripped up, and he stopped maybe a yard short. It'll be 1st and goal.
These Jayhawks just won't go away.
And the turnovers have been a part of that.
Yeah.
Another turnover giving Kansas a chance here.
A good decision by Bean. Avoids the hit. Gets them close. And look, you know, let's see what they have in store down here.
Pretty generous spot. Thomas in the backfield. Thomas did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Well defended by Oklahoma. Well, and now I think your point of you got to have some urgency. You just can't be wasting time down this big.
Yeah, you got to get in the end zone. Yeah, they're certainly taking their time down here, but you can't spend 4 plays trying to get this in. That'll cost you another minute and a half, 2 minutes.
And they're not a high tempo offense. That's not their style.
Yeah, where is the option game?
Second and goal. Handoff. Thomas again had to fight so hard and just got to the 1, the original line of scrimmage. Isaiah Coe, Reggie Grimes. Thomas kept falling forward. They spotted him back, I think, at the 1 where it'll be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, they're going to burn, if they get in, they're going to burn 2 minutes trying to get this touchdown in a methodical way. And you really should have, in my view, your best play to get you in there quickly, save some clock, see where you can go.
Can OU's defense come up with a goal line stand? Bean keeps it. No, he handed it off, and Thomas walked in. That was good ball handling by Jason Bean. Kept that ball in there for a long time. Finally gave it to Kai Thomas. It's a Kansas touchdown.
Yeah, the left side of that line, it started inside with Nowitzki, the center, and then you'll see a good block on the left side by Pooney, 67, to turn Oklahoma inside and create that hole.
So the turnover leads to a touchdown. Maybe Lance Leipold's team is not done yet.
How do you feel? Make this PAT. How do you feel about an onside kick?
I just don't know why you wouldn't at least consider it, because I just don't think field position is much of a factor in this game. So the extra point is up and good. You're still down 14, but still have a little life. Weird fluky turnover, and the Jayhawks took advantage of it.
Yes, they did, and they are back in it. This team is tough. They will not quit. We got a great finish coming.
Well, this season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Here from Norman, Oklahoma, where the tradition is, okay, the extra point gets kicked, somebody comes up with the ball, chuck it as high as you can, fight for it, scramble for it, fumble it, heave it somewhere, I don't know where, and then who gets it near the top row? Just throw it out of the ballpark.
Toss it out. A little bit of the old Wrigley Field kind of thing. But don't worry. They don't lose the ball. It gets recovered outside.
Hopefully nobody's walking their dog or whatever. The Jayhawks with the touchdown, 49-35. Let's go back for an update with Kevin.
Yeah, Flem, Texas down to Iowa State late. Acho, and Quinn Ewers finds Xavier Worthy.
And look at this route by Xavier Worthy. Broke the DB's ankles.
Touchdown. Cyclones just fumbled the ball. Texas has it late, up 3 on ESPN. Elsewhere in the on-deck circle, Maryland and Indiana. Talia Tagovailoa. And that high-octane offense coming up next, Flem.
Okay, well, that would be, and it looks like it will be, a great win for the Longhorns to survive against a team with a really good defense. Might not have been as pretty for Texas. Drake Stoops gets his hand on the ball, and a nice gain on first down.
He's had a nice day so far, making his parents proud. Mom and dad sitting up here watching him play. Bob Stoops, former coach here. Folks in the elevator were asking him to come back and coach. He said, never mind. You're in good hands with Brent.
Gabriel tried to zip that one to Stoops, incomplete. So that'll stop the clock. Now it's 3rd and 1. But Oklahoma, the clock would be the Sooners' friend. There's Bob, who didn't love that particular moment.
He's probably saying, we're up 2 scores. Bleed some clock. Run the ball.
They've run for 242 yards. They've thrown for 403.
Yeah, but, 2-score lead. You've run for 240. Run for 300 in the game.
Eric Gray with the carry. Gray cuts it upfield and gets the first down.
I mean, if you've run for that much, your offensive line has played that well, you can take a bunch of time off the clock. The clock is the enemy for Kansas right now. And with a 2-score lead, you don't really need to throw it that much. Certainly not incomplete passes.
Well, we're definitely seeing a more deliberate tempo in terms of getting the play in. And can't really say breaking the huddle, but getting to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And that's the smart way to play it. There's a handoff. Barnes got hit at the 40, maybe made it to the 41.
And if you're Kansas, you really have to think in terms of really trying to run blitz and the like to stop the runs, to slow this down so you can get a 3rd down and long. It is not what they normally like to do.
2nd and 6. Out to the 45. It'll be, well, I've said 45. Make it to 46. Good extra effort there. It'll be 3rd and 1. And Lorenzo McCaskill, his helmet flies off again.
Pleasantries. Enjoy the afternoon with you. Yeah, your shorts look a little shorter than normal. Yeah, that's because I don't like to wear as many pads. You notice how short the pants have gotten? College football?
You're right. We showed you that old clip of Kansas the last time they beat Oklahoma. The whole uniform, all the gear, it looks like a different sport.
Well, you know, they used to really inspect and make sure that you were wearing knee pads, and now players cut up the knee pads so that they're just a little sliver and you can wear your shorts. I mean,
kind of like that.
Yeah, they're like shorts, man. You know?
Going for a bike ride after the game, Dylan Gabriel.
They're not anywhere near the knee anymore.
Another handoff. This time Kansas was there to meet the ball carrier. Eric Gray lost a yard.
Well, since Oklahoma turned to the ground game, they've burned 3 minutes off the clock. And see, yeah, those are bike shorts, man.
That ain't even close.
No. I'm just mad because back in the day, I would have done that. It would have been faster on the field. All the extra pads and all the extra laundry, you didn't need all that.
Gabriel swings that one out to the right side. Gray with the catch and run, and Gray just short of the first down into KU territory.
That's a long handoff, so that works. That is not a pass, really. It's just a long handoff to keep the clock moving.
3rd and 2, straight ahead. First down, Sooners. Eric Gray was hoping for a little longer. Gray's had an excellent afternoon. Let's go down to Tiffany.
Hey guys, Jeff Levy told us that any opportunity he gets, he's going to brag about Eric Gray because he's been a guy that is all in and a guy that they can trust. He just prepares himself in such a way, and he helps to prepare his younger teammates as well. We saw that going into Texas last week when he had to try to get those young QBs ready. He was letting them know what to expect. He's just that type of guy, and that's what sets him apart.
Left side run, and Javante Barnes, who's tough to bring down in his own right. So you think Eric will be watching his old team play at home against the Crimson Tide after this one's over?
I think there's a pretty good chance of that. He's not, well, the party isn't until later, so he can watch that game.
We had an 11 a.m. kickoff here in Norman.
Got plenty of time.
Another Tennessee transfer on this OU team is Key Lawrence, who's had such a big day on defense.
Yes. No, he's been outstanding. Oh, Oklahoma got the message. They went to the ground attack. They've now burned 5 minutes off the clock. And that's just the right way to do it.
Good cut to get the first down. Barnes again. This is sort of the ideal fourth quarter drive when you're up 49-35.
You know, it seems every week we have an issue about clock management. We had one in the first half with Oklahoma, and it looked like we were going to have one here, but then Oklahoma righted the ship and decided, you know what? 240 yards rushing on the day. We can add 30 29 to it and burn clock, and they have.
Did you see that third down number that we just threw up there?
Missed it.
16 of 19. Oklahoma. Gabriel, go into the slide.
Yeah.
Stayed in bounds.
Yeah, 16 of 19 on third down means that you're going to have a really good day.
If they get in the end zone here, they're going to go over 700 total yards. Kansas burns a timeout. So that's their first of the second half.
Timeout, Kansas.
Their chances of winning this game are slipping away. Oklahoma trying to put it away. We'll be back to Norman right after this.
ESPN College Football is presented by Sling, the TV you love for a price you'll love.
Homecoming parade. Everybody had to get up a little early for that one.
Listen, when you have homecoming and you celebrate your first African-American scholarship player, you can't lose. You got to win that day. I mean, everybody's excited. It's a celebratory day. You got a parade. Oklahoma needed this win for a lot of reasons. And homecoming's one of them, but given the anxiety in these parts, this was huge.
I mean, I think, you know, sometimes Dillon Gabriel being back has obviously been a huge part of the story here. 412 yards passing, a couple touchdowns. He's rushed for a touchdown. They're just a totally different team with him out there. But look, it's easy to say, okay, Oklahoma State and TCU, they're undefeated. They're in the top 15. They're going to play here in a few minutes. Huge game. Well, this was a huge game for Oklahoma for a different reason. I mean, they had to play better.
Timeout, Kansas.
Kansas is calling another timeout.
30 seconds in length.
So just a short timeout. I mean, this program has the fourth most wins in the history of college football. The true elite of the elites.
Blue blood, a lot of pride. There were a lot of folks who came out of last week going, this does not happen to Oklahoma. You don't get blanked 49-0 and not by your rival. Unacceptable. Those were the words that we heard. And, you know, people started to question the direction of the program. But, you know, again, as we talked about, when we looked at the tape, the problems were all things that could be fixed, particularly on the defensive side. Now, the transfer portal is going to clearly be an issue for them going forward. They certainly have to beef up the quarterback room, and they've got to do some other things, too.
I wonder if Brent Venables is going to change. It's not that he's against the transfer portal, but you don't get the sense talking to him that it's really what he wants to be a big part of this program. That play was stopped short, so Kansas will use their final timeout here.
Well, I think he's right that in
third and final,
in the long run, your program is not going to be sustainable and live off the transfer portal every year. You can, however, plug some holes and get a quick fix, as we've seen Lincoln Riley do at USC. But if you get the reputation of being a program that is just totally dependent on the transfer portal, you're going to miss out on the elite high school guys.
So Oklahoma 4th and 2 here. Just real quick, Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. Undefeated #1 Texas women's volleyball taking on number 18 Baylor. That's today, and it's underway. You better get there if you want to see that one. Soccer championship coverage starts October 30th. Sign up at ESPNplus.com/Big12 now. And look, I love talking to Brent Venables about this stuff because he believes passionately about the place of college football isn't just to be a football factory, just to prepare players for the NFL,
right?
Just to compile as much talent. He wants to be a mentor. He wants this to be a program where kids grow personally on and off the field. And all that, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
But if you don't participate in that transfer portal right now the way that other teams are, you're going to be way behind.
Yeah. You know, he brought in, what, 12 guys or so? Transfer portal?
Which isn't a tiny number. 37-yard field goal try, and it's up and good. So Oklahoma, instead of going for it, they take the 3 points. And 52-35, Brent Venables' team 5:18 away from getting a much-needed win.
He's got to feel good about this day and the way his defense sort of responded. Field goal kicker nails one. Oklahoma. Something to celebrate after a long time of being miserable the last 3 weeks.
Well, our next UFC Fight Night tonight in Las Vegas, headlined by the women's flyweight main event. Prelims start at 4 Eastern, followed by main card at 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus. To watch, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. 52-35 Sooners. Let's check in with Kevin in studio.
Yeah, Dave, Big Ten action is in the on-deck circle for us. In Bloomington, that's Connor Bazelak. And an Indiana team that's lost 3 consecutive games following a 3-0 start. Trying to get back on track today against Maryland. It's a game that will kick off on ESPNU.
I still remember you and I had a game.
Yes.
Missouri.
Yep.
Connor Bazelak against LSU, I believe.
And he was outstanding.
Oh, my gosh. He was so good.
I like to play a little game every week now. Where was that quarterback before?
Yeah, you can stump some people on that one. Bean throws, and a nice catch by the Kansas tight end. Is that Jared Casey?
It is.
The hero from Austin last year.
He was not only the hero, didn't he get himself a nice little restaurant deal after a great catch? Touchdown?
I believe he did.
Yeah.
Applebee's maybe?
Yeah.
Bean throws, and that one is caught. Lawrence Arnold across midfield.
Another beautiful throw. I mean, there are some throws that Jason Bean has made today that, you know, we know Jalen Daniels is the starter, but those are throws that I'm not sure he can make. There's more arm strength, arm talent on some of those throws. But Jalen Daniels is a superior overall passer and a superior runner, and I think they missed that, and they missed his confidence.
I do too, because I think you're right. Bean can make some throws that Daniels can't, but overall, Kansas missed their starter. Bean stumbles ahead for a Kansas first down, stopped the clock momentarily to get everything set up.
And the one thing Jalen Daniels cannot do, as far as I know, is play a little defense.
Yeah, the Jayhawks defense got abused today. Over the middle, and the catch. Wow, Fairchild, the tight end, was just totally blanketed, and somehow he caught it.
That ball was put right on the 8 and 9. Again, another great throw. You know, tight end down the seam, behind the linebacker in front of the safety.
Neal gets stuffed.
Let's go back to the throw and catch here. Look at this ball over the linebacker in front of the safety. That's a heck of a throw. And we've seen Jason Bean throw several balls like that today.
And he finds his tight end wide open. Fairchild, touchdown.
Every week, defenses just lose Mason Fairchild, especially around the goal line.
Why is that? He's 260 pounds.
Yeah, you'd think they'd find him, but they always think he's blocking. You know, this time he doesn't even fake a block. He just runs to the back of the end zone, and he's wide open.
He's got 5 touchdowns on the year now, 2 today. He's got a career high in catches. He's over 100 yards today.
You know, when you play that picket fence defense on the goal line, you want to force the quarterback to throw the ball up really high. You don't concede 8 yards of the end zone so he can make an easy throw.
So the touchdown for the Jayhawks, that didn't take long. Well, we started this game with a Stranger Things reference, living in the upside down with how the seasons have gone for Kansas and Oklahoma. I guess stranger things have happened than Kansas finding a way somehow to pull this one out, but I don't think so. They're down 10, no timeouts left, 3:31 to go.
Yeah, we actually thought they should have tried an onside kick earlier in the fourth quarter.
OU's got that hands team out there, and they recover the onside kick. No, play never happened.
Part of the kick, Oklahoma. called their second time out of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Timeout before the kick.
Why not?
All right, so now you need to change your strategy about your onside kick. Kick it hard at someone or try to get that bounce and get it to rise up for you. This is getting bowl eligible for Kansas. Not going to be easy. You know, today was an opportunity, but look at the rest of that schedule.
I mean, can they win? They could win all those games. This is a competitive Kansas team.
Yeah, it's not like prior years.
But that is a difficult schedule, rated as the #1 remaining strength of schedule in all of college football. All right, so now with that ball placement, they kick it to the other side, and OU, ball spinning, nice recovery by Marvin Mims, and Mims, hopefully he kind of recovered that awkwardly, got bent backwards. I think he's okay.
Listen, they needed Mims today. They targeted him at least 17 times, I believe. 9 catches.
17 times?
17 targets today. He had 4 last week or something like that. Yeah, got that one cleanly. He looks like he's walking around okay. Yeah. I mean, how do you target a player like that only 4 times and against your rival?
Well, the whole operation last week was just broken. Not this week. Handoff straight ahead. And Kansas has no way to stop the clock.
You know, sometimes you just have to step back away from the scheme and the X's and O's and ask yourself, what are we trying to do here? Well, we're trying to get the ball to our best players in the best position possible. Well, Mims is one of your best players. Okay, well, let's get him the ball more. You know, it's not that hard. Now, it helps to have Dylan Gabriel back, who actually can get the ball to him.
Goes without saying, it's going to be a huge issue for Oklahoma to keep him healthy from now through the end of the year. Gabriel keeps it, and Gabriel will get a first down and more. Goes down inside the 30.
Yeah, unnecessary. That's an unnecessary risk. You get him back after 2 weeks, concussion protocol, and he delivers a phenomenal day. Throwing the ball, the occasional scramble. Comes up with a day of 403 yards passing, 29 of 42, a couple of touchdowns. I just don't see the reason to run him at all late in this game when this game is in hand.
We sure did have some highlight plays today, didn't we?
Oh, we had a bunch of them. This game started out like a track meet.
I mean, that last play we showed with Braden Willis tiptoeing his way into the end zone, the incredible interception for Oklahoma. C.J. Colden.
Now, this win for Oklahoma is not going to end all of the concern and criticism out there about the last 3 weeks. But this is a real big win for this team and for their confidence and feeling like, you know, the enjoyment, or as Brent Venables phrased it, the joy of playing amidst all the expectations, the burden they have. This is going to help this team feel better about themselves and maybe propel them into the next week.
Gabriel is just going to stand around on second down before he takes a knee. So he goes down on a knee, taking as much of that clock off as possible. If they do that one more time, they're going to go back under 700 total yards for the game.
Can't have that happen.
Am I the only one who cares about that?
Probably.
You go over 700 yards, that's kind of cool, and now they're going backwards.
I think if someone gives Jeff Lebby a note, he'll decide, well, we should run it, pick it up. But I think that's it. I think they're going to lose it. But the win and getting back on the right track is This is a really big thing for Oklahoma.
Oh, maybe only 1 yard loss there, Rod. Could be they stay over 700 for the game. No matter what it is, they can celebrate a good win. And I think the final score undersells how well the Sooners played.
I think that's right. Particularly on, the offense, Dylan Gabriel made the huge difference. But despite the 42 points, we saw the Oklahoma defense play much better than we have the last 3 weeks.
Still work to do,
Yep.
but much better. I think that's very true. So 52-42, the Sooners snap their losing streak. They extend their winning streak against the Jayhawks. 18 straight wins against Kansas in Big 12 play. And for the Jayhawks, their second loss in a row, and they need their starting quarterback healthy again. They missed him today. For Tiffany Blackford, for Rod Gilmore, Dave Fleming saying so long. Thanks for being with us. Time to send you out for Maryland, Indiana, and East Schroff and Brock Osweiler are there.